Chapter 57:23. Just cooperate with Daisheng. In order to rekindle the road. These scattered robbers are all fighting. There is no right or wrong. Jian Wushuang sighed and continued to practice. Swallowing the heart of time and space, he once again lit up thousands of black holes. 7,000 black holes have been lit up in the original star sky. Then it is slowly digested. Don't be too anxious, after all, it is the power that is swallowed. Need to be stable. After 10,000 years, Jian Wushuang stabilized the original starry sky and swallowed it again. It lasted for 100,000 years before he swallowed all the original treasures and firmly linked all the black holes together. The strongest universe in the starry sky is about to be born. Jian Wushuang's original clone, standing above his own universe, was very satisfied. There are a total of 9,000 black holes. And the secret realm of the universe has risen to 9. When there are 6,000 black holes, he has only one cosmic secret realm. Now that 3,000 black holes have been lit up again, 8 cosmic mysteries have been refined. The deeper the background, the faster you can cultivate. Jian Wushuang was very excited. The 9 cosmic secret realms, if they were practitioners of Guyu time and space, would already be comparable to the 9 cosmos. Next, its supernatural power. Jian Wushuang took out Dongjun's bones, his aura suddenly skyrocketed. Bobby D increased his divine power, and it still maintains it now. He just used this power to speed him up to devour Dongjun's bones. The divine power of increase, but the divine power of real deal. It's not like the beast warrior, it's just imaginary. Jian Wushuang exerted his strength one by one, directly reaching the divine power of 200,000. The clone is slowly conducting. This is the power of Bobby D. He can't maintain the deity for too long, otherwise he will be discovered. But only a stick of incense time is enough. Now it has a basic divine power of 200,000, so use 4 times the power of the beast god. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists and let out a low growl. Divine power suddenly exploded. Double the power of the beast god, directly increase 80,000. 2 times is 160,000. 3 times 240,000. 4 times 300,000. Jian Wushuang held his breath, his divine power reached its peak. With the basic divine power, it is already 500,000. If Bobby Emperor's increase is reduced, his basic divine power is still only 100,000. 100,000 basic divine power cannot maintain 4 times the power of the beast god. The divine power of 500,000 times is now comparable to the 5 tribulations realm, although most of it is not his real combat power. But Jian Wushuang was already very excited to be able to burst out. It was a feeling of the combat power of the 5 tribulations realm in advance. If it was only 100,000 times the basic divine power, his peak might be just over 200,000. But if the basic divine power is increased to 200,000 times, it will be able to burst out 500,000 times the divine power. Dongjun bones. Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand and stroked it lightly. A chill came, piercing his mind. The divine body that was tens of thousands of times in the first place could increase its divine power by tens of thousands of times just by absorbing the breath he radiated. A glance will cause serious injuries. Nowadays, 500,000 times the divine power can be touched at close range. Jian Wushuang put one hand on the bone, and the other hand grasped the arm placed on the bone. The swallowing power ran wildly. The 9 universes with infinite power burst out to the extreme. Now what he has absorbed is the divine power on the bones. Powerful. He already had 500,000 times his magical power, but he was still a little struggling. The golden aura exuding from the golden bones continuously gathered into Jian Wushuang's palm, and then spread to the divine body. Jian Wushuang's divine body also began to increase crazily. The basic divine power has risen directly from 100,000 times to 150,000. Too strong. Jian Wushuang was not excited, but frowned. No wonder the real spirit will set a ban, so that he will devour it when he robs the realm. The burden of devouring him is too great now. A slight instability can crush his divine body. You must know that his current divine body has increased by 500,000 times. Reached the threshold of the 5 tribulations realm. The weak points of the sabotage have 500,000 supernatural powers, and the strong ones can reach 600,000. The Lord of the Universe will forget it. Even if he is not in his dojo, he may be able to explode more than 700,000 divine powers. If you are in your own dojo, your divine power can break 1 million. This is the horror of the Lord of the Universe. However, after he became the Lord of the Universe, he was even more against the sky than this. There are now 9,000 black holes in his universe. Calculated on the basis of 10,000 seats, his own dojo blessings at that time will probably be 10 times stronger than the Lord of the Universe in Guyu time and space. This 10 times is an increase of 10 times. Converted into combat power, it is 10,000 times. 10,000 times more than the same order, it can be several orders directly. Moreover, he has the bones of Dongjun, and his divine power will not fall. At that time, it will be double happiness. Break the law with one force. He doesn't believe that other people can do it. Now he has some confidence in himself. He was really going to succeed. He had too much power at that time. The power of life can certainly be useful for a long time, mainly assisted. I won't talk about swallowing, now it's only used for cultivation. Everything and the starry sky are his strongest 2 powers. The power of all things brought his origin to the limit. The power of the starry sky represents the strongest starry sky. The power of blue is extremely terrifying. If it is divine power, it can also reach the top. At that time, he will have time and space reincarnation plus infinite divine power. Shuttle through the past and the future, and master the cycle of reincarnation. Divine power breaks all obstacles. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but swallowed. How powerful it would be. What? Holding both fists, suddenly burst into air. The divine power transformed by the golden arrogance began to climb. The basic divine power jumped to 150,000 times. According to his speculation, just swallowing all the aura wrapped in the golden bones can reach 200,000 times the divine power. But now he can't do it yet. Because of the increase given to him by Bobby D, there has been an unsuccessful performance. If you continue to practice like this, Bobby D will definitely doubt it. Time to stop. The remaining breath can only be swallowed a little bit. Call. His divine power instantly dropped from 500,000 times. The power of the beast is not exploding either. Only 150,000 times the basic supernatural power remained. This time it has increased 50,000 times. The slower the increase in the later stage. Just absorbed 10% of the golden arrogance. There is still 90% left without absorption. 10% increased the power of 50,000 times. The remaining 90% can be increased by another 50,000 times. But after reaching 200,000, these arrogance may not be increased by 10,000 times. He is in the Emperor, the limit is in this state. After he can no longer use the power of Bobby D, his basic divine power plus the increase of the power of the beast can probably increase to about 380,000 divine power. 100,000 years is enough to swallow all the remaining arrogance. At that time, his basic divine power will be 200,000 times. Belongs to the real limit. Chapter 5726. This kind of nepotism can be completely trusted by fighting the secret realm together. It is much stronger than an old fox like Wu Li. Every good helper is worthy of their best efforts to win over them. Wu Li also saw that Jian Wushuang's aura was much stronger, but didn't say much. For him, the stronger Jian Wushuang, the better. At the same time, he didn't worry that Jian Wushuang would turn back. His chassis is also not simple. Elder Mu Qin is praised, it's just a slight breakthrough. Jian Wushuang shook his head modestly, and the aura on his body began to shrink like a black hole, until the whole figure looked like nothingness, which could only be seen with the naked eye. The power of mind is not perceivable. Of course, this is also the strength of Wu Li and Mu Qin. If he were the lord of the 5 tribulations realm universe, he would naturally be able to feel Jian Wushuang's existence. Seeing Jian Wushuang's breath disappear, the two were also a little surprised. But their personal strengths were very sensitive, so naturally they wouldn't ask much. Sit down and talk, none of them are outsiders. Wu Li saw Jian Wushuang a little uneasy about standing, so he asked Jian Wushuang to sit down and talk. Mu Chen also nodded and said, "Yeah. We will soon be a family. The palace just prepared for you and Jinshan has been built. You can move in a few days." Where Jian Wushuang was sitting, he could only nod frequently. "Wushuang nephew, I think you are a little restrained, isn't it because you haven't married before?" Elder Mu Chen asked curiously. If this kind of thing is in the ordinary, it will definitely not be said. But everyone is a cultivator, and all have become emperors of the tribulation realm. There is nothing bad to say. Who did not marry a few Taoists in the mundane period? But when I think of some family children, they are still teenagers in ordinary times, and they will be able to become Taoists in 10,000 years. Jian Wushuang also had some sympathy for the children of those big families. None of them have experienced the red trials of the mundane world. Hearing Elder Mu Chen's question, he thought of what he used to be. The days of struggling in the mundane world. Juvenile sword pavilion era. He experienced the warmth and coldness of human relations, and he asked the sword wholeheartedly. At that time, he was full of spirits, and he broke things that he couldn't understand with a single sword. Green Fire Realm, Divine Power Universe. On every journey he is fearless. The original partner, brother, and Taoist couple. Now I don't know how. They are far away from Desiyu. Emperors are hard to find. But now in the long river of time and space, there are two major overlords. Temple of Qi, Temple of Destruction. I don't know if that piece of pure land will be broken. I haven't gone back for some days. But he still remembered, not forgotten. I even often remember the bits and pieces of the time. Longing for the beginning. But he had to go forward again. Go out of your own way. Let's go to see the wind and the snow and the moon. Suddenly looking back, Jian Wushuang had already become the strongest emperor, and he was about to win the tribulation realm soon. Looking back at the past, looking at the path I have walked. All the tribulations are nothing more than just adding cold snow. Thinking of this, a figure appeared in Jian Wushuang's mind. Cold as frost. That was his Jian Wushuang's wife. How could he ever forget? Both Elder Mu Chen and Wu Li could see the reminiscence in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The gossip flames in the two people's hearts rose, and they couldn't help but want to listen. Especially Wu Li, he has not figured out the identity of Jian Wushuang, more like knowing where Jian Wushuang came from? Is it 9 heavens and 10 places, or the other 9 great time and space? He never thought that Jian Wushuang would come from the last travel time and space. No one would believe that such a powerful emperor would appear in the last travel time and space. After Jian Wushuang reminisced, seeing the two staring at him curiously, he quickly explained, "Before there were only some beauties, but they haven't been married. That's a shame." Elder Mu Chen patted his thigh, seemingly unbelieving. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly rounded the stage, changed the subject, and talked about some recent events. It was about the sacred meeting. Jian Wushuang also listened carefully. There are no faults. Listening to Wu Li's meaning, this time the sacred meeting will not only select candidates for the saint, but will also attract a group of strong people into the Gumu sect. Jian Wushuang didn't understand it when he heard this. Since he wanted to attract the strong to join the Gumu sect, why didn't he recruit it directly? Participants in the sacred congregation are some strong family members. What good is it for absorbing these people? Being in Gumu and in the family. Raise a group of vampires. It is better to search for those who have great potential for casual repairs. Only when such people are cultivated will they have a sense of belonging. Elder Mu Chen also understood this meaning, and was also a little confused. Of course, I only heard that some people say that Gu Yu God Church recruited peripheral members during the holy meeting. Just listen to this kind of thing, don't take it seriously. Wu Li said, Ancient Moon God sect. That is the only 9-star sect. Even if it is just rumors, it will provoke a lot of people. Guyu's sect, a peripheral member that has been absorbed. The weakest is the Lord of the Universe. The dispersal realm is not qualified at all. Even the dispersal of the 8 tribulations realm would not absorb it. Because within the Ancient Moon God sect, The most indispensable is the 8 Tribulations Realm Powerhouse. With the accumulation of countless ages, there are too many 8 Tribulations Realm experts of the ancient moon god sect. But the master of the universe in the 8th stage realm is scarce. There is only one. There will be one in almost every era. Otherwise, it would be difficult for the ancient moon gods to convince the crowd. With the superpower of the 8 Tribulations Realm universe, who doesn't want to enter? Even the peripheral members can walk sideways in 9 days and 10 places. That's why a lot of people are shaking. This time the quota of the congregation was also copied to a very high level. Wu Li said that this incident was because of regret in my heart. The thigh is almost broken. If he shoots now, he can earn several times more. It's cheaper for others. The qualification token he sold was sold to a 4 Tribulations Realm Universe Master. The promised request is still counted. It means that Wu Li has an additional ally in the 4 Tribulations Realm. It's not too bad to come. The 3 chatted for a while, and Wu Li saw that Elder Mu Chen had come here. Yu reading www.Akanshu. Of course, he didn't come to him, so he took the initiative to retire, leaving Jian Wushuang and Mu Chen to chat alone. Elder Mu Chen confided the truth after Wu Li left. He was hesitant at first, but after seeing Jian Wushuang's aura stronger again, he was relieved. I've been chatting until now, only to tell the truth about my visit this time. After Jian Wushuang listened, his brows opened up. He thought it was a big deal. It turned out that it was Princess Jinshan's eldest brother, his future eldest brother-in-law, who wanted to learn from him. This thing is easy to handle. But the Lord of the Universe? Jian Wushuang asked about the opponent's strength. Elder Mu Chen waved his hand and said, "It's not that strong. If it were the Lord of the Universe, I wouldn't come to you anymore. It's not bullying." Chapter 5727. That's easy, I can accompany you at any time. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. If he is the Lord of the Universe, there will be some trouble, and he needs to expose his strength. It is very simple if it is not the Lord of the Universe, and pure divine power can crush the opponent. This time he returned from the Ancient Wood sect, and he has become the 3 Tribulations Realm, and he is very close to mastering the universe. You should be careful. Elder Mu Chen reminded. By the way, there are a few others with him. The Tianjiao of the Ancient Wood School, remember not to offend, otherwise it will be against us during the holy meeting. Jian Wushuang didn't answer, but just nodded slightly. As long as you don't sin against him, everything is easy to say. But that eldest brother-in-law, how could he have to ask him to fight? Could he know Shijio and miss his brother-in-law? The corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth rose up, making him amused. It's all in the tribulation state, and I don't want to go to the tribulation, but take care of this boring thing. His marriage with Jin Qin is a foregone conclusion. Not a prince can block it. After talking about this matter, Elder Mu Chen said some more about the rules of the wedding in a few days, and then left. Jian Wushuang got up to see him off, but was declined by the other party. As soon as Elder Mu Chen walked away, Wu Li appeared. It seems that you big brother-in-law, it's not easy to get it done. Wu Li folded his hands on his chest, frowned slightly, and turned his eyes to the distant sky and said, "Come on." Jian Wushuang followed his gaze together. In the sky, 3 figures appeared. 2 masters of the universe in the 3 Tribulations Realm, and 1 in the 3 Tribulations Realm who has not yet mastered the universe. The strength is not even counted. These people can also be regarded as the proud children of the Ancient Wood School. His age was only a few hundred epochs older than Jian Wushuang, but his realm had reached the Lord of the Universe. It is indeed the proud Son of Heaven. The ones who come are not good, the ones who are good don't come. Jian Wushuang smiled on his face, he didn't care. But Wu Li was a little awkward in his heart. Entering his Wu mansion without going through the door, the 3 of them were the first to dare to do so. Fly in directly without giving him any face. You are Jian Wushuang. The golden-armored man headed by the 3, with a firm complexion, looked at Jian Wushuang with a lofty posture. Jian Wushuang was very upset with this feeling, and his face sank a little, and he said calmly, "It's your Royal Highness. Since it's here, let's talk about it as follows." "I don't think it's necessary." Such a small yard is not enough to stretch your feet. The big prince didn't even look at Wu Li. This made Wu Li, who valued face very much, a little angry, and wanted to take action to teach the three of them. Really want to shoot, these three people together are not his opponents. Especially the great prince, who had just successfully crossed the tribulation and had not yet mastered the universe. He dared to be so arrogant. If you become the master of the universe, don't you have to open your eyes to the top of your head? His Royal Highness, if you think the yard is small, I can expand it specifically for you. Wu Li continued, waving a single hand, bursting out a powerful divine power, and directly flattening half of Wu's mansion. This powerful force broke out, but it was extremely restrained. As a result, most of the Wu mansion was destroyed, and the outside world did not feel the fluctuation of divine power. This scene caused all three of them to shrink their eyes. Wu Li raised his other hand and swept across the other intact mansion. Enough now. Wu Li gritted his teeth. Jian Wushuang was astounded. The whole Wu mansion was flat. Where do they live at night? A few days later, it was his wedding day, but Wu mansion was razed to the ground at this time. Wouldn't it be even more embarrassing to spread this out? The prince frowned. He didn't expect Wu Li to be so hard-hearted. And the strength is so strong, beyond his expectations. It seems that he even has the idea of shooting him, so it's better not to anger him. The two Gumu sect masters of the universe next to them were a little curious about Wu Li's strength and asked, "Junior brother Lu Qin, is this person Wu Li, a well-known strong man among the masters of the universe who has crossed the three tribulations realm?" "Yes, he is Wu Li, and the ancestor of the Wu family, one of the top 10 families in the Yu country. His strength is half a step and 4 calamities." The eldest prince Lu Qin responded indifferently. When Wu Li saw them talking about their title, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. Even if it is to provoke him, it is enough to recognize his strength. He hummed coldly in his heart. After opening Wanlu Mingjin ancient Wood continent, let alone a little Yu kingdom prince, the female emperor of Yu kingdom had to be polite. Everything still speaks for strength. The three slowly landed. Both sides watched. "Senior Wu Li, you are so kind." Lu Qin glanced around. This time it was really spacious. Jian Wushuang was worried about where they would live at night. It's not good to be too angry. Wu Li sneered after hearing what the eldest prince said. Of course he has to be polite when he comes to the humble house, otherwise it will be said. "If that's the case, then I'm not welcome." Lu Chen's expression sank before turning to look at Jian Wushuang. He didn't recognize this brother-in-law. Not because Jin Chen didn't like it, but Jian Wushuang's background is too weak. The Guma school is a place where he speaks about his birthplace, and his cultivation over the years has made him understand that birthplace is very important. As for the fear of drawing wolves into the clan, he disdains. Stone country is so powerful, how could it be greedy for a small Yu country? If Lu Chen's thoughts were known to the ancestors of the clan, he would definitely be so angry that he would crawl out of the sarcophagus. Regardless of any forces, they are all from the weak. Why do you want to belittle yourself? Shurgua is indeed from a good background, but it doesn't matter where he is. It is also a normal precaution to be greedy for the country. How powerful is Shurgua's ambition? Outsiders only see its dominance and strength. But he didn't see Shurgua's greed for neighboring countries. Wild ambition. Undoubtedly revealed. Had it not been for the Guma faction, the 16 kingdoms would have long since become the family of Shurgua. The founding ancestor of Shur Kingdom was a realm of 8 tribulations. The flame who guards the Stone Kingdom is a super strong who is not weak as the master of the universe of 8 tribulations. Although Gu Mu sect has several ancestors in the 8 tribulations realm, it is not enough for the flame god to fight it alone. That's why Shurgua dared to take advantage of this arrogance. Yu reading www.ukanshu.com. Coupled with the demise of the Eternal Kingdom now, the Stone Kingdom has fewer obstacles. Among the 16 countries, ranked first is the country of Shur, who does my part. The second is the daughter country. The third Eternal Kingdom is gone. The rest of the kingdom is much weaker, and it's not at the same level at all. Not only does it have no 8 tribulations realm, but even the 7th stage realm has only 1 or 2. If the stone country invades, it will be a complete sweep. In a country like the U country, if it recruits the son-in-law, the stone clan. I'm afraid I don't know how to die. The best thing is not to get involved with Shirgwa, and to get support from the Gumus sect at that time, or sit in a boat and only serve as cannon fodder for Shirgwa. This is what the ancestors of the U kingdom did not want to see. Chapter 5728. The size of the pattern is far beyond what the eldest prince Lu Chen can imagine. It can only be said that the smell of milk is not dry, and the thinking is too simple. If you want a strong background, just be a dog for Bobby D. No, Bobby D doesn't like such a weak dog. The 3 tribulations realm really couldn't enter the eyes of Emperor Bobby. Jian Wushuang had an idea. He suddenly thought that he was also a member of Emperor Bobby, and his background was not weak in Shirgwa. Today, the power that Emperor Bobby has mastered, not to mention sweeping the stone country, there is no problem in defeating it. No matter how strong the flame is, it can still pass Qi Jiuxiao. Half a step in the 9 tribulations realm, even in the Flame God's dojo, can blow up the opponent. His Royal Highness, if you are not satisfied with you, you can do it at will. Jian Wushuang's aura remained unchanged. But as long as the opponent makes a move, he will definitely defeat Lu Chen as quickly as possible. Lu Chen didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so tough. It's not that a family doesn't enter a family. Well, if you have this sentence, you still haven't lost your ambition, but you are only an emperor. If I use my full strength, I will provoke outsiders to laugh. So let's suppress half of your divine power and fight with you. If you can't resist a stick of incense, I can't ask any more about you and Jin Qin. Lu Chen stretched out his hand, his strength dropped rapidly. 200,000 supernatural powers. Jian Wushuang narrowed the corners of his eyes. Is this half of the special? The Lord of the Universe in the 3 tribulations realm only has a divine power of more than 200,000. In the 3 tribulations realm, he is probably at most 250,000 times divine power, and only suppressed 50,000, which can also be called half. A stick of incense. This one is simple. I'm just worried that I'm too heavy, and the other party won't be able to hold a stick of incense. Wu Li's face was gloomy, and he looked at Jian Wushuang and said, I have set up a barrier here. You can shoot at will and give me a severe lesson. He has absolute confidence in Jian Wushuang, and he exploded a 3 tribulations realm, and it was too simple for Jian Wushuang. When Shirjiao was defeated last time, Jian Wushuang's explosive power was already comparable to the Lord of the 3 tribulations realm universe. Now dealing with a 3 tribulations realm without mastery of the universe is the same as playing. Indeed. After Jian Wushuang heard Wu Li's words, his eyes widened and shot instantly. The breath on the body has not changed. The eldest Prince Lu Chen was a little surprised. He thought Jian Wushuang would first use all his strength and then make a move. He didn't expect to be so arrogant that he would dare to make a move without breaking out of his supernatural power. Can't you see that there is a 200,000 times divine power erupting in him? But when Jian Wushuang rushed in, the rain of fists from the sky fell, and the eldest prince Lu Chen felt his arms numb and his body trembled when he responded. You hide your breath, so mean. Jian Wushuang said calmly. His Royal Highness Lu Chen can suppress strength. I can hide my breath for a while, it's not too much. Feeling full of nothingness, he was like a ghost. The other 2 Gumu sect masters of the universe looked a little staggering. His power is so strange that he has not missed anything, and his divine power can grasp this level. It looks like, just like what junior brother Lu Chen said, he has 200,000 times the divine power under his full strength. You see that his offense has reached the limit. Although he can hide his breath, when he fights against the tribulation realm, this ability is considered chicken ribs. Although the 2 were a little surprised, they soon felt that they knew Jian Wushuang through. On the contrary, it was impossible for the eldest prince Lu Chen to defeat Jian Wushuang with 200,000 times his supernatural power. The experience of mastering supernatural power is not as good as Jian Wushuang. Under the same supernatural power, Jian Wushuang could not be defeated naturally. The blood at the corner of Lu Chen's mouth could tell that the fight just now did not hurt less. At this time, The divine power on his body continued to leak, which had exceeded 200,000 times. Jian Wushuang assumed that he hadn't seen it. Wu Li, who was watching the play, did not speak. He was willing to fight, waiting for Jian Wushuang to break out and defeat the opponent. Otherwise, reminding him now would make Lu Qin leave easily. The two masters of the universe of the Gumu school frowned. A respectable person, if he fights against the emperor, he still has to shame and lose Fengpa. It's just a family matter, and they don't have much to say. Even if it wasn't, they couldn't say it. Isn't it even more embarrassing to say it? Right way. This is what is wrong. So Jian Wushuang didn't believe in Jingma. Just follow your own way. What if it is the way of heaven? In his own dojo, he is the way of heaven. One move made him despair. Lu Qin attacked again, losing his weight with a punch, but he didn't even hit Jian Wushuang. Turning to find Jian Wushuang's position at this time, but found that Jian Wushuang was already standing in the air. This time, Jian Wushuang was aloof. His Royal Highness can give it a try, don't be restrained. Jian Wu's double-faced color remained unchanged, standing in the air like a god. Lu Qin clenched his fists, his divine power exploded again. This time, he exerted 90% of his supernatural power. If it breaks out again, it will be a deadly battle. The supernatural power of 250,000, all scattered. Wu Li frowned and sighed inwardly. No wonder the Empress would pass her throne to her Princess Jinchen, not the eldest prince. The character is too bad. Entering the Guma school is also because of the background, otherwise it will not be the climate. Junior brother Lu Qin, it's a bit past. Gu Mu Sek's master of the universe shook his head. It's really too much. Although Jian Wushuang has a good grasp of divine power, it is easy to defeat it. There is no need to use so much divine power. The two of them didn't fight Jian Wushuang, and they didn't know why. Only Lu Qin was sweating behind him. Even if he had used 90% of his supernatural power now, he still felt a sense of oppression when facing Jian Wushuang. It's not from divine power, but can't see through the details of the other party. And every time he strengthened his divine power, he still didn't get any head start when fighting Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang played against him, just like playing. The big prince, after the strength unfolded, once again shot. This time, directly use the pinnacle secret method and come up with the strongest trick on the bright side. Wang Yue Jie. The prince put his hands together like a bright moon. The electric arc on his body crackled, and the eruption of strength was terrifying. It definitely surpassed 250,000 times of supernatural power. This surprised the few people who watched the game. The battle continues to escalate, but they think Jian Wushuang is very ordinary. He didn't understand why Lu Qin was so anxious. Jian Wushuang stood in the air, staring at the rushing prince, without avoiding it. When the opponent was only an inch away from him, he suddenly roared. The quartet world dimmed instantly. A huge black hole appeared behind him. That is the power of 9,000 black holes, completely introverted and swallowed. Ah! The space began to shatter under his roar. Wu Li's eyes shrank, and his hands quickly pinched the tactics to stabilize the surrounding barriers. Fortunately, there is still formation blessing on Wu's house. Chapter 5729. Otherwise, under Jian Wushuang's roar, I am afraid that half of the king will be destroyed. The legs were slightly bent. Jian Wushuang, with his fists clenched, stared at the eldest prince Lu Qin, and then roared. Even directly broke the opponent's pinnacle secret method. Mochizuki shattered. Lu Qin received a lot of backlash, his breath dropped by a large amount, and he forcibly endured the dullness in his chest, otherwise he would vomit it on Jian Wushuang's face. After defeating Lu Qin, the aura on Jian Wushuang's body was calm again. The two masters of the universe of the Guma school saw that at this time, their expressions were not only shocked, but also doubtful. Just now from Jian Wushuang, they felt an extremely powerful atmosphere of the universe. That is the power beyond them. The universe of the two of them has gradually grown from 1,000 black holes, and now they have cultivated for such a long time, but it has only reached 1,000 or 200. In the universe, there is not even a secret realm. When I felt Jian Wushuang's strong black hole power, he must be surprised and puzzled. That power, in their view, has not completely evolved into the universe. It's a black hole. This means that Jian Wushuang is definitely an emperor. An emperor's eruption in an instant surpassed them countless times. Just a moment's time, it completely suffocated them. Isn't he only 200,000 supernatural powers? The news is wrong. Lu Chen barely suspended the void, his face pale. Can't even speak, because a mouth will definitely vomit blood. Even Jian Wushuang himself was a little surprised at the outbreak just now. Unexpectedly, I can't lift the energy. Jian Wushuang moved his neck. Maybe it was because his origin had improved too quickly, he hadn't been tempered by a great battle, so he broke out suddenly and didn't reach the peak. Originally, he planned to use the power of the beast to solve the battle. But he saw Lu Chen getting more and more unpleasant. Let the other party despair once. Break the enemy with one move. And they didn't do it. Directly severely injured the eldest prince Lu Chen. Jian Wushuang was not afraid that he would say it. People like Lu Chen love face the most. If you tell others that he was caught by an emperor, he would be seriously injured by a roar. Regardless of whether others believe it or not, he has no face to say anyway. His Royal Highness, I think that's it. Jian Wushuang slowly fell to the ground. White clothes on the body are not stained with dust. It was Lu Chen's ashamed face. Cough. Lu Chen wanted to open, but as soon as he was about to open, he coughed up a trace of blood. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly came out to make a round and said, "They are all about to become a family." I think this kind of meaningless discussion is almost the same. Today, the humble house cannot entertain the eldest prince and the people of Guizhong. Another day I will be in a fair, and I will recount the old times with His Royal Highness. Humph. Lu Chen didn't dare to open his mouth, so he could only snorted coldly. Flicking his sleeves, he immediately rose into the air. When he passed by his companion, he left without saying a word. The two Gumu sect masters of the universe received the sound transmission from the bottom of their hearts and hurriedly followed. Ha! Jian Wushuang sighed. Looking at Wu Li, he said, "What should I do next?" He glanced around. Within 100 miles, even a tree was gone. It will soon be married to Princess Jinchen. Wouldn't it be too embarrassing to be seen by others? And the home was razed to the ground. Those who didn't know thought that they too had no abilities. They were beaten into the house, and even the house was knocked off. Small problem. Wu Li smiled and shook his head, then snapped his fingers. After a crisp sound, the space changed. Suddenly a magnificent mansion descended on the surrounding open space. There is no difference from the previous layout. Only some details have been changed. Jian Wushuang looked around, a little surprised. This is actually an energy body? Yes, it's not a pity to ruin it. As long as there is a universe crystal, you can have as much as you want. The entire king capital is actually in this layout. Wu Li explained. Jian Wushuang knew everything in his heart, and then asked, "But I didn't feel it for the first time." Haha, this kind of energy body comes from the formation, that is the formation created by the great power of the Eight Tribulations realm. If you can see it, it will be weird. Wu Li snickered and laughed. But my heart sank. This kind of layout is very common throughout Guiyue time and space. How could Jian Wushuang not know? And as for the formation of the energy body, it seems that he doesn't know at all. Randomly picked a wild flower, Jian Wushuang held it in his hand and played with it, but he didn't know that his identity was once again suspected by Wu Li. After Lu Chen's trouble, Wu Mansion also began to lively. Many servants began to prepare for their wedding in 3 days. However, Jian Wushuang was happy and leisurely, walking around Wu Mansion at will, and from time to time he would only lay down people personally how to make arrangements. He looked like he was going to get married. He was married for the first time. It's also considered a cumbersome. I have always heard how unbearable the son-in-law is. Now he feels pretty good. Just practice, others will give back the resources. If this kind of good thing had been encountered by him a few years earlier, there would be no headaches in the back. He had eaten and waited to die a long time ago. However, if this were the case, he would probably not be trained by teacher Xian. The original teacher Xian Yi. I'm afraid that there are no less training practitioners. He is only one of them, but he is the only super talent in the original universe to stand out. Have been walking until today. Never let the other party down. 3 days passed very slowly. For Jian Wushuang now, it was the 3 most fulfilling days he had had. In these 3 days, he has never felt relaxed. It's like giving yourself a break. Leave everything behind. Leisurely life. Follow the elder Mu Qin to visit the royal capital and drink fine wine. Fishing for arowanas on Shunlong Lake, Baishuai's fights against wild beasts. It's so fun. Unfortunately, there are only 3 days. After the wedding, he will go to Shurgua for the Excalibur embryo. After the embryo is completed, it is almost time for the holy meeting. The time of the congregation varies from person to person. Maybe soon, tens of thousands of years will be over. But this time, I am afraid it will shake several epochs. Because Jian Wushuang and Wu Li's plan was to open Wanlu. By then, the 2 of them will become the target of public criticism. Everyone will stare at both of them. I want to get the treasures from the 10,000 Willows sacred tree from them, including Guma School. The vitality of the Shenmu King was revived, and he needed to obtain vitality suitable for the 8 Tribulations realm from the Wanlu Shenmu. This kind of vitality could not be created by Jian Wushuang. Even if the current origin is very strong, the vitality of creation can revive the body of the god. But to revive the divine body, that would be too difficult. It is also difficult for him to become a robbery. Otherwise, he can sell his life and make a fortune. With his strong vitality, I am afraid that it will not take a long time to buy the entire Guyu time space. He can think about this kind of thing. Chapter 5730. Even if he becomes the tribulation realm, when in a certain realm, he can breathe life into those scattered tribulations. Once exposed, countless tribulation realms will be swarmed. There is still trading. It is estimated that all the 8 tribulations realm powerhouses would rob him at that time. Unless there is enough strength, there will be orderly trading. But if he really wants to have that strength, why should he sell his life force? It's not better to grab those families directly. Jian Wushuang shook his head. The big wedding tomorrow. Taking advantage of the bright moon tonight, he began to paint. Draw a scene of ancient moon time and space. He draws slowly and seriously. When he returned to the temple of Qishan that day, he would also give some friends to tell about his experience in Guyu time and space. This painting is a testimony. Finished. It's dawn. In the early morning of the royal capital, the sun was dazzling. In the palace above the clouds, colorful auspicious clouds fell, and a pair of luxurious welcoming teams descended on Wangdu Avenue under the colorful auspicious clouds, floating all the way to the outside of Wufu Gate. On both sides of the street, whether it is ordinary or immortal emperor, they are all looking forward to the color. When we are greeted, a loud voice sounded, and Princess Jin Qin, wearing a red robe, stepped on colorful clouds and entered Wu Mansion. It's just that her complexion is a bit embarrassing. Originally wanted to let his elder brother teach Jian Wushuang a lesson, but after his elder brother came back, he ignored her. Ask and say nothing. Cross the threshold. After entering Jian Wushuang's room, her expression only eased slightly. That's the end of the matter, she has no other way. Hard ones are no good, only soft ones. You're here. Jian Wushuang was sitting in front of the bed, he was also in a red robe. From a distance, the 2 can be regarded as talented women. It's just that Jian Wushuang's white hair is a bit distracting. Jin Qin replied softly. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he saw that the other party was talking to him so peacefully. I don't know what trick this princess is playing. He has to be careful. The 2 looked at each other and didn't know what to say for a while. It was the first time for the eldest girl to marry. Jian Wushuang married for the first time. Jin Qin got married for the first time. After a while, Jin Qin took the initiative to speak. I heard that you have been in Outland. Are you still used to returning to your country? Fortunately, I am used to being free. As long as no one threatens me, I can get used to it everywhere. After Jian Wushuang finished, he didn't forget to add, If your Royal Highness is not used to it in the future, you can tell me at any time. Jin Chen sneered, but when he thought of asking Jian Wushuang after the big wedding, he replied softly, "Definitely." The two passed the time with each other. In the welcoming party outside, Mu Chen and Wu Li chatted happily. After checking the time, he was about to go to the palace with Jian Wushuang. "It's good time, get up." After Jian Wushuang heard this, they walked out of the house together. There was already a circle of people outside. Each of them is a powerful person in the Yu country. Thither it is Tianjiao among the emperors. Congratulations keep coming. Jian Wushuang clasped his fists in return. When he left Wu Mansion, Wu Li stood in front of the door, tears crisscrossing, and holding Mu Chen's hand, complaining, "I'm just such a nephew, brother Mu Chen, you can. Don't worry, you are all your own, and you will definitely not let Wushuang Wai's nephew be wronged." Jian Wushuang was embarrassed listening to him. That is, he had a thick-skinned face. Otherwise, you must find a seam to drill in. My son-in-law, it really wasn't so good. At least be thick-skinned. Jin Chen stepped on the colorful auspicious clouds and brought Jian Wushuang into Longhu. Following everyone's gaze, the welcoming team flew to the palace. It was the first time that Jian Wushuang took a seat in Longhu, and he also enjoyed the luxury of the emperor. But when he looked at Longhu, he felt a strong breath, directly surpassing the welcoming team. Several terrifying auras are all around the Six Tribulations realm. The Comer is not good. Jian Wushuang looked out through the curtains. The welcoming party was blocked by a group of people. 3 people stand upright. A woman in a red robe stood in the first place, with a red mark on the center of her eyebrows. That represents the flame god. Not only the people of Shurgua knew it, but the strong people of the entire Gumu continent knew it. 9 heavens and 10 earths are very loud. After all, it was a totem mark left by a special life in the 8 Tribulations realm. Except for the Lord of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm, the Flame God is invincible. The Lord of the Universe will become the Dispersal Tribulation because of the failure to cross the tribulation. But the Flame Gods are born without disaster. No one dared to offend this super-existence. Even the Master of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm did not want to offend. Once offended, you must get rid of it. Otherwise, when you fail to cross the robbery that day and get hit by someone, you will have no chance. God Hui. Jian Wushuang frowned. He hadn't heard of the relationship between the Yu royal family and the flame gods. And the other party is not good. It looks like it's not here to congratulate. On the contrary, it seems to be a smashing place. Isn't you going to grab a kiss? Jian Wushuang frowned. He was robbed and he also robbed others. It can be said that he has experienced a lot. But this kind of thing can't let him come across every time. Jian Wushuang looked at the Princess Jin Chen, thinking that this time it was because of the other party. The flame is the patron saint of the Stone Kingdom. Jin Chen has a relationship with Shurgua. It must be the cause of the other party. Jian Wushuang recognized it in his heart. Princess Jin Chen's eyes flickered, but she hoped that Shurjiao would bring someone to grab her. But there is no such possibility. The ancestor of the royal family has already greeted the Shur family. The matter of Shurjiao has been settled privately. As for the Hui, she also knows a lot. Right now, I don't know him. And looking at the breath is also an emperor. The 2 black robe elders behind him were all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. Divine power leaked. Full of pressure. Among the welcoming team, the strongest is nothing but Elder Mu Chen in the half-step 4 Tribulations realm. At this moment, he felt those 2 breaths of 6 Tribulations realm, and his expression sank. When he saw that woman, he turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang in Longhuzhong. A woman of the Hui stood in front of her. It looks like it's not because of Jin Chen, but Jian Wushuang. This time it really made him guess right. Without waiting for him to come forward and interrogate, the woman in red at the head said, "Jian Wushuang, you are so laid back." After hearing these words, there was a flame in the eyes of Elder Mu Chen. He was worried that the Shur family would make trouble. After being dealt with by the ancestors, I thought that there was no worries about the future. As a result, Jian Wushuang's trouble came up again. Princess Jinshan in Longhua was a little excited in her heart. If it was Jian Wushuang, wouldn't it be that she didn't need to marry Jian Wushuang? After Jian Wushuang heard these words, he panicked a little. Stand up directly. He opened the curtain and walked out of Longhu. He was dressed in a red robe with white hair. When seeing this face, the corner of the Ho Yi's mouth rose, and she guessed it was indeed Jian Wushuang. Chapter 5732. This is also normal. Jian Wushuang is himself a god-defying emperor. He is the emperor of the same level. Many people are discussing below. Jian Wushuang turned a deaf ear. What are you going to do? Don't take it too seriously, just want to see how much you have improved these days. It seems to be a bit stronger than before, but this strength is not enough. The supernatural power of 260,000 yuan was said to be worthless by Fan Tianfeng. Jian Wushuang's eyes trembled. Secretly cursing in my heart, she is afraid that she has forgotten the fear of being dominated by extinction. At the beginning, Mi Bing possessed Dongjun's bones, exploded with 250,000 times of divine power, and was able to suppress her at will. How long has it been since now? Can I feel so arrogant if I have added some divine power? Good. Jian Wushuang agreed. Since we have to learn from each other, then let the other party know what it means there is a sky outside the sky, and there are people outside the person. And also, the origin of time and space is the strongest. Jian Wushuang put away the aura of supernatural power on his body. He wants to use the origin of his hometown to defeat Fan Tianfeng. Let her understand, don't forget your roots. Fan Tianfeng frowned as he watched Jian Wushuang put away his supernatural aura and said, Why, you're scared. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but smile and said, If I'm afraid, I won't leave there for the rest of my life. Blue. Boom. The popping of space is deafening. Today is the day of the wedding, and it cannot be delayed. Since he chose to use the source to deal with Fan Tianfeng, he would not keep his hands. Eternal change. Surrounded by a blue arc, the aura on Jian Wushuang's body turned blue. Hair, clothes, and eyebrows are all blue. It also represents the power of the starry sky. This turmoil. People in the palace couldn't help but walk out. The female emperor led the officials, looking at Jian Wushuang and Fan Tianfeng. The junior's hands, she couldn't intervene. If those 2 Six Tribulations realm dared to do it, she has to end. Although those two are both in the Six Tribulations realm. Not the master of the universe. She is the master of the half-step Six Tribulations realm universe, and the palace is her dojo. You have to die as many as you come. Unless it is the Seven Tribulations realm. Otherwise she is invincible. Naturally don't panic. When she felt the breath of Jian Wushuang's body, there was a color in her cold eyes. This breath also appeared when dealing with Sergio. Only this time, it is much stronger than before. He has a secret. The Empress sighed in her heart. She thought Jian Wushuang was a caged bird of the royal family, but now she understands. Yu country is a small place, and Jian Wushuang can't be trapped. Entrance is just a cover, she understands this. But at first, I just felt that Jian Wushuang was an emperor and couldn't overcome any big storms. It's just that she is shaken now. Knowing that Jian Wushuang will definitely rise up in the future, a character who can't be restrained for 9 days and 10 places. Recruiting Jian Wushuang might be a wrong choice. If she knew that Jian Wushuang had harmed many people, she would have regretted her intestines. Fan Tianfeng felt Jian Wushuang's changes and was not surprised. She knows Jian Wushuang's whole cards. Draw your sword. You do not deserve. Jian Wushuang shot instantly, his figure resembling the thunder in the space. So quickly people can't see the shadow. Even the Lord of the Universe can't see clearly. Elder Muchen couldn't believe Jian Wushuang's speed even more. Rubbing his eyes, when he looked at Jian Wushuang again, he could only see some afterimages. The reason why Fan Tianfeng has confidence is that his strength is naturally not weak. The supernatural power of 280,000 soared to 300,000. Fighting against Jian Wushuang several times, he didn't even fall behind. The eldest prince who followed the Empress' side opened his mouth slightly. 3 days ago, he thought Jian Wushuang had exerted his full strength. The result is that he was playing tricks at the beginning. As long as Jian Wushuang is in this state, he only needs a look in his eyes to defeat him. Boom! Jian Wushuang had the upper hand, and the sharp fist smashed the space. If not for the formation of the royal capital and the maintenance of the female emperor, this place has long since become like an eternal kingdom. Although he could not destroy the entire eternal kingdom, but ruining a royal capital is really not a problem. The combat power he exploded has reached the Four Tribulations realm, and it's the fighting power of the Lord of the Universe. The Lord of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm is only his strength. The Princess Jin Chen on Long Hug looked at the bursts of blue arrogance in the sky with her head hooked, knowing that it was produced every time Jian Wushuang played against each other. But just can't see how Jian Wushuang looked when he shot. Fear. He is so strong. Jin Chen was speechless. When Jian Wushuang defeated Shurjiu, she only felt that Shurjiu was out of luck. After reaching the robbery realm, he could still catch up with Jian Wushuang. But now that he has witnessed Jian Wushuang's real combat power, even if Shurjiu became the Lord of the Universe, he was not Jian Wushuang's opponent. She had to admit this. Wu Li and others in the royal capital also looked up. He was even more shocked. Jian Wushuang's strength has surpassed him. Some can't hold it anymore. Fortunately, he also has a whole card. Otherwise, he would have to consider running away. If you continue to cooperate with Jian Wushuang, he will kill the donkey that day, and he has no choice. The entire royal capital, and even the entire high level of the country of Vietnam, are paying attention to this battle. Some people think that the royal family has picked up the treasure. Actually discovered Jian Wushuang such a peerless arrogant. Some people think long-term. I think the royal family might be afraid of Jian Wushuang. The strength that Jian Wushuang erupted was really too shocking. Jian Wushuang in the blue arrogance just used his aura to stun Fan Tianfeng back. Fan Tianfeng, who was also in the flames, had a somewhat unstable breath. Just a series of fights, let her see the gap. Jian Wushuang was so strong that it was indeed beyond her imagination. Impossible, how can your strength be so strong? Fan Tianfeng forcibly burned his divine power and rushed again. She didn't believe that Jian Wushuang could maintain this state for a long time. Definitely burn the source and fight her desperately. Jian Wushuang stood in the void, deep, his eyes cold. A beam of light burst into the finger. The blue air column burst out and instantly arrived in front of Fan Tianfeng. Without waiting for her to think about it, Jian Wushuang's figure rushed along the air column he just hit. His speed is faster than his own breath. Fan Tianfeng has nowhere to hide. Dodge the attack, can't avoid Jian Wushuang. His Royal Highness, don't panic. The two Six Tribulation Realm powerhouses who were also watching the battle shot at this time. They shocked Jian Wushuang's terrifying combat power. But I will never forget my mission. Protect Fan Tianfeng. This is Ho Yi, the most proud of flame divine power. If they fall, neither of them will survive. Although Jian Wushuang was strong, he had no way to deal with the Six Tribulations realm. Can only stop the figure. At this moment, the Empress also personally ended. 3,000 red sleeves flew out of the palace. Cover the sky and the sun. The breath of horror suddenly fell. The two Six Tribulations realm experts simultaneously protected Fan Tianfeng and turned to look outside the palace gate. Where the Empress is standing, the Faxiang rises to the sky. Shenghui Nebula. The female emperor snorted coldly. Chapter 5733. A huge nebula form appeared, condensing the appearance of the Empress. The red sleeve envelopes the nebula image. A palm shot directly suppressed the two Six Tribulations realm. Fan Tianfeng had nothing to do, standing still at a loss. With a stroke of her hand, the female emperor directly threw the two Six Tribulation realm powerhouses out of the territory of Yu Kingdom. Go on. The Empress stretched out her hand, motioning for the two to continue fighting. Jian Wushuang swallowed, wondering if he should make another move. However, since I spoke, he can't violate it either. Fan Tianfeng's expression was a little flustered, and he hurriedly transmitted the sound to the ancestor. At the same time shot again. Flame body. A fire demon that seemed to have crawled out of purgatory descended. That is the blood that Fan Tianfeng is proud of. The blood of the flame gods. Fan Tianfeng, the strongest Hui. But in Jian Wushuang's eyes, it was vulnerable. Condensing the power of the stars with both hands. An invisible sword appeared in his hand. You are going to lose. Jian Wushuang said he wouldn't draw his sword, but he didn't say he wouldn't use it. When he condensed the invisible sword, the sword of the starry sky was hung in the royal capital. Billions of sword intent fill the sky. They rush towards Fan Tianfeng together. At this moment, even if the opponent is struggling, it is useless to burn divine power. Jian Wushuang made billions of swords. The gathered starry sky power, if converted into divine power, would definitely exceed 500,000. He really wants to draw the sword, he doesn't know how strong he will be. Fan Tianfeng was really panicked this time. Retreating constantly, the flame behind her stood in front of her. But this is just a sign. Can't stop it at all. When billions of sword intents rushed in, they were instantly fragmented. I admit defeat. Fan Tianfeng was completely desperate without the resistance of the law. If you really want to resist, she will die. Hundreds of thousands of sword intent gathered into an invisible sword, suspended between Fan Tianfeng's neck. At the same time, the distant sky began to burn, and it turned into a sea of flames in just a moment. In this sea of flames, there is a human face hidden. Flame gods. The ancient wood continent is the strongest in contemporary times. The infinite flame contained in his pair of eyes can kill the 7 tribulations realm. If you really want to attack Jian Wushuang, I am afraid that the entire Yu country will be destroyed in an instant. However, he saw that Jian Wushuang's cause and effect were deeply entangled with Fan Tianfeng, and he did not directly take action. Empress Fengshen's eyelids throbbed, and her dojo collapsed in an instant. She knew that it was the flame who had arrived. Even in his own dojo, it is absolutely unstoppable. Let's go! The flame god made a dull voice. Jian Wushuang did not intend to kill him, knowing that the flame would not attack him. But being so watched, there is still a great sense of oppression. The same as that Qi Jiuxiao. However, the original Qi Jiuxiao didn't use his full strength. If he really wanted to make a move, he would be stronger than the flame god. Jian Wushuang, we will see each other again. Fan Tianfeng gritted his teeth, turned around and walked through the flame space, and left Yu Kingdom. The flame space in the sky also disappeared. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone also breathed a sigh of relief. The sense of oppression just now was too strong. Princess Jinchen, who was sitting in the middle of Longhua, looked at Jian Wushuang's back with fear in her eyes. Only now did she understand that the mysterious powerhouse she met in Baihua Mountain was Jian Wushuang. Emperor, 5 Tribulations Realm. The strength that Jian Wushuang had just exploded definitely had the combat power of the 4 Tribulations Realm. The master of the universe who can fight for the 4 Tribulations Realm. Powerful. Some people feel incredible. Guyu time and space, the first emperor can't be overstated, right? Many people were amazed. Jian Wushuang condensed his aura, and he also felt that he had just taken a shot that seemed a bit ostentatious. Accidentally, the burst of strength was too strong. The main thing is that there is a breath in my heart. Fan Tianfeng's own strength is not very good, but he uses his background to suppress him. This makes him very upset. Everyone is an emperor from the Temple of Qishan. Came to Guyu time and space to save the Temple of Qi. Instead of fighting background here. Meaningless. Call. Jian Wushuang glanced around and returned to Longhu. The big wedding has to go on. Mu Chen looked back at Longhu, stabilized his emotions, and continued to walk towards the palace. This time the empress was standing outside the palace, waiting for the procession to welcome her. At the same time, several 6 Tribulation Realm powerhouses arrived. The breath just now, as well as several ancestors in the royal family were alarmed. Have you found out the details of this son? A simple voice came into the ears of the empress. The arrogant empress also moved her expression when she heard this voice, and then respectfully said, Ancestor, I have checked, the affairs of Outland are all arranged by Wu Li, not from the background of Jian Wushuang. Then what about the real background? Can't find out. The Empress said truthfully, he appeared out of thin air. Thanks, it seems that the more my country is in a disaster. When she heard what the ancestor said, the Empress was stunned. Then reacted. The country of Yu is not a powerful country among the 16 countries. The super dynasty of the Eternal Kingdom has not been destroyed for a few years. Today's Gumu continent, undercurrents are surging. Everything must be careful. If Jian Wushuang sneaked into Yu country, it was for the belongings of Yu country. Both the Empress and the ancestors didn't believe it, because Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed their cognition. It will never be because of Yugua. It might be to hide your identity and do some big thing. What they fear is that they will be implicated in the country of Vietnam at that time. But now Jian Wushuang has been married. There is no way to return it. Can only pray that Jian Wushuang's future will help Yugua instead of destroying Yugua. Looking at Jian Wushuang's passing figure, this idea was suppressed by her again. She didn't think Jian Wushuang would help Yugua. It's good time. After the sharp voice sounded, many guests all took their seats. The ceremony was extremely grand. It lasted from morning to night. Many powerhouses in the hall were discussing Jian Wushuang's strength. On the surface, Yugua picked up the treasure, but secretly waited to see the joke. Such a powerful son-in-law was not as cheap as the boy from Shigua. After Jian Wushuang became the Tribulation Realm, it would not take long for him to become the master of the universe in the 5 Tribulations realm. By then, how could it be subjugated to others? The country of Vietnam will also change. But Wu Li is the biggest winner of the game. Regardless of Jian Wushuang's status, the status of the Wu family has risen in real terms. But Wu Li couldn't be happy from the bottom of his heart. Such a powerful Jian Wushuang is not something he can handle. When the time comes to open Wanlu, there will be some trouble. Although he also has a whole card, that existence cannot appear at will. This big wedding comes down. The audience is happy. However, no one in the Yu royal family and Wu family can be happy. Shisan, the night is late. Jian Wushuang was sitting on the bed alone, while Princess Jinchen was sending guests away. When I returned to the east, it was late at night. Chapter 5734. Big Husband, born in heaven and earth. How can you live on this bed? When Princess Jinchen walked into the bridal chamber, Jian Wushuang suddenly stood up. His eyes are firm and clear, and his feet are strong, step by step close to each other. You! Princess Jinchen was a little frightened. She was taken aback for a moment, her purple eyes staring at Jian Wushuang. The feat of Jian Wushuang by Tian Tian really restrained her. Now she also understood that it was not the mysterious 5 Tribulations realm at Baihua Mountain, but Jian Wushuang in front of her. Although there is still some distance from the 5 Tribulations realm. But the current Jian Wushuang could have the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm. This time Mingnian defeated Tianjiao, the foremost bloodline of the ancient Wood continent, with the displayed combat power. It is already the number 1 in Guyu time and space in contemporary times. Even counting upwards, none of the Emperor Tianjiao of the reincarnation era was as defying as Jian Wushuang. What are you doing? Jinchen took a step back unconsciously. No matter how powerful Jian Wushuang is, there is only one person in her heart. This will not change. Jian Wushuang approached step by step and stood in front of Jinchen. After staying for a while, Chang Chang said forcefully, "Let me." Princess Jinchen was a little puzzled, but took a step back as she did. Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to walk out of the vicinity of the bed and came to a corner. Said it is a corner, but the palace prepared by the royal family for them is not bad. Even in the corner, there is a futon. Those who didn't know thought it was specially prepared for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang directly sat cross-legged on the futon, his eyes closed. "Don't worry, I won't touch you." If you are acquainted, I have your handle, you'd better not do anything out of the ordinary." Princess Jinchen held her head up. Jian Wushuang frowned when he heard the word handle, and instantly stood up. His eyes opened, his murderous aura leaked out. The Princess Jinchen, who was still a little proud just now, lowered her head held high when she saw Jian Wushuang's appearance. "Don't offend me, I know why you want to join the royal family, isn't it because of the qualifications of the sacred society?" Jin Chun said, a little emboldened. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that the matter of taking refuge in Bobby was known. Now that the Holy Assembly qualification token has been obtained, there is nothing to hide. This time I entered the custody, it was nothing more than a clever setting up of a name. If you simply provoke the Tianjiao of the major families to show your own strength, it is likely to be abandoned halfway. Come to Guyu time and space. Every time he broke out, it seemed to be for himself, but every time he fought for others. On the bright side, Zhang Shurjiu and Fan Tianfeng have exaggerated backgrounds. Secretly, he first showed his prominence in Baihua Mountain, and then broke out in the Eternal Realm. They are all famous teachers. You can't just provoke others to explode your strength for no reason, and then wait for the Guma faction or some superpowers to draw in. This will not only fail to be cultivated, but will lose your life instead. The trip to the human world in the Temple of Qishan made him see the terrible family. It's okay to be a dog. Pride of the day. It simply doesn't work. Even now, it is because of Wu Li's identity that he can enter this upper world. Sometimes strength is not absolute. For example, he is just an emperor after all. Even if the fighting power of the Four Tribulations realm erupts, it is still the emperor. If there is no background, it is worthless, and it will be squeezed out by those superpowers, or even beheaded. After all, this world has so many resources, and if one power rises, there will be one more rival. Jian Wushuang knew this well. That's why Wu Li's plan was carried out step by step. This also shows that Wu Li was the mastermind of this game, and even understood the chains of this world early. If you want the family to rise to another level, then there must be a peerless powerhouse. He pressed the treasure on himself. There are only a few tribulation realms in the Wu family, and they are not as talented as him. The family background is also very shallow. After all, resources are still limited. If you want to get more resources, you must become stronger. So he dared to peer into Wan Lu Shenmu. It was his luck that he got the wooden sword, with the vitality power matching the 10,000 willow sacred tree above it. Most likely, it is a treasure flowing out of Wan Lu Shenmu. This is an opportunity and a catastrophe. Grasp it, and make it to the sky in one step. It is not a problem to become the master of the universe in the Five Tribulations realm. Maybe it can go further and create a superpower. If you are not sure, then run away. This is nothing. Anyway, the Wu family now ranks in the top 10 in a small dynasty like you. Looking at the ancient Wood continent, it can only be regarded as a force with a name but no surname. He doesn't like that little resource either. Jian Wushuang's thoughts were not as simple as Wu Li's. In the face of it, he wants to open Wan Lu, and secretly cooperates with Bobby D. His goal is not only the ancient Wood continent, but even to be involved in the entire Guyu time-space dispute. As long as there are disputes, there will be opportunities. If Emperor Bobby can really overturn Guyu time and space, then he can also get a lot of benefits. Bao can't press them all together. He wants a long layout. The current strength is still too weak. You need to take risks if you want to rise. Following Bobby D is an adventure, and opening Wan Lu is also an adventure. As long as one succeeds, he can fly into the sky. Return to the Temple of Forbidding God to solve the extinction. He can directly disregard all time and space. At that time, he would have the real strength and patience to find Teacher Xian Yi and take a look at the future world. He now needs to struggle constantly. Yu Kingdom, Southeast China. A white figure, like a stream of light, broke through the space and flew at an extremely fast speed. On his body, there is still a breath of Jian Wushuang. This person, it was Jian Wushuang who refined the chess pieces of the font size and injected them into the life-recovering Five Tribulations realm powerhouse, Zibai. The day before the wedding, Jian Wushuang released Zibai out and waited near the capital. For the grand marriage of the future female emperor of the Yu Kingdom, many powerful people will come, and there will be some in the Five Tribulations realm. Not afraid of being discovered, Zibai waited outside. He took the opportunity to select prey. Among the top 10 families, the top 3 are all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. That was the superpower that existed before the establishment of Yu Kingdom. Although it is now dilapidated, there is no master of the universe who has come to the 5 Tribulations realm. But there are still old monsters in the Dispersion realm in the family. Of these 3 families, Jian Wushuang would naturally not take risks. The remaining 10 families. He also looks down on forces like the Wu family at the end. Finally placed in the 5th-ranked family. Qin family. Rise several times ago. The master of the universe whose family has gone out of the 5 Tribulations realm has also opened a 5-star sect. The Lord of the universe in the 5 Tribulations realm fell, and the sect was also destroyed. Turned into clan power. Several cosmic masters of the 4 Tribulation realm have appeared one after another, and all of them have failed to overcome the tribulation and become the dispersing Tribulation realm. Chapter 5735. Today, the strongest in the family is a universe lord of the 3 Tribulations realm, and his strength is not as good as Wu Li. Even in one's own universe, the combat power of the ordinary 4 Tribulations realm can burst out. If it were not for the glory of the ancestors, it would not rank 5th. There are also a few old-fashioned scattered robbers in the family, all of which are in the 4th Tribulation realm. It's a good choice. Jian Wushuang's wisp of consciousness turned into an erratic human form, moving forward in Zibai's light and shadow. Go to the universe of the Lord of the Universe first. Yes. Zibai didn't hesitate, his figure quickly rose up, and he walked directly toward the universe conceived in the void. An elliptical universe, like stars in the void. If you look closely, you can see the internal structure. There are only more than 1,000 black holes. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Too weak. This kind of universe is in the eyes of a time-space emperor like him. Works that spoil the space. Not worthy to survive. Kill it. Yes. Zibai turned into light and shadow and directly pierced the universe. The origin of everything that envelopes the universe collapses in an instant. As well as the formations are constantly being corroded. This is a precursor to the destruction of the source. Who? An angry sound rang, and then angrily said, Dare to break into my universe, you are looking for death. Zibai stopped, and after looking at the figure inside the origin of the universe, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. There is also an extra folding fan in his hand, lightly dancing. Seems to be partial sun. However, in the next moment, he became an demon who destroys the world. His figure soared to hundreds of millions of miles in an instant, his whole body exuding colored light and shadow, and without waiting for the other party's reaction, his punch hit the origin of the universe. With just one punch, the black hole that carries the universe collapsed 100. The Lord of the Universe went from furious to horror in an instant. One punch destroyed 100 black holes. Now the universe has been hit hard. With a few more punches, I'm afraid his universe will be destroyed directly. Ancestor, save me. As soon as a cry of wailing sounded, it was completely dimmed. On a certain continent in the southeastern China, the Chen family sounded the alarm for genocide. What happened? What happened? Look, Patriarch's universe is collapsing. With the noisy voice sounded, people kept breaking out and flying into the sky. The universe of the contemporary patriarch is just above the clan land, and they can see it when they look up. A star keeps flickering. This is the signal before the collapse. Several 4 Tribulation realm powerhouses in the depths of the clan gathered together in an instant. The law bodies of the Lord of the 3 Tribulations realm cosmos was also there. Run away. Go to the capital. After Chen family patriarch said these words, the law body shattered. This also represents the fall of the deity. The ancestors' eyes throbbed. But they were all people who had experienced big winds and waves, and they reacted in an instant. People in the family cannot be saved. But that is not important. The Tianjiao in the family is either in Gumu sect or Qingyun sect. There are also some strong players out there. Those who stayed in the family were some junior emperors, or immortals, and some mortals. These can be cultivated, as long as the robbery is still alive. If the family treasure is still there, they will be able to rise again. A few people arrived at the treasure house in an instant. At the same time, a huge teleportation formation rose up. This teleportation array also carries a treasure trove. The treasure house is a single cave world. You can't enter at all at ordinary times. Once the family enters the moment of crisis, the treasure house will open the teleportation array and fall into the turbulence of moments. Only the few talents appointed by the family can sense where they are. Around the treasure house, there are 4 huge pillars. The 4 ancestors, one by one, sat cross-legged on the top. They don't need to manipulate the big formation, only need to guard the big formation. Even if you fall, you must make sure to leave the teleportation treasure house. The rest of the robbery realm in the family can escape if they can, and ordinary emperors don't care about it. The talented seedlings are scattered and fleeing. All this is in order. It seems to have been rehearsed. The response is extremely fast. Even Jian Wushuang, who had just arrived here, was a bit stunned. Look at it at a glance. The Chen family's nest was scattered all over. But these scattered powerhouses are no different from waste. Poor and weak. He didn't even feel a catastrophe. Apparently already ran away. Jian Wushuang felt a faint atmosphere of space. If it is an ordinary strong person, it is difficult to feel even in the tribulation realm. But Jian Wushuang is an emperor of time and space, and he is very sensitive to this kind of induction. Not good. That breath is a space-time teleportation array. Jian Wushuang took out a mask at will and put it on. The aura on his body was restrained and contracted, and then directly squeezed a seed. That is the power of the starry sky condensed from the deity. The blue power rose instantly. Jian Wushuang slammed into the big formation. At the same time, he also transmitted the location of this place to Zibai. This teleportation array must be destroyed. Otherwise, this time he would come in vain. Only at this time Zibai was still scraping away the treasures in the universe. If he doesn't stop it, he will have to leave when he is discovered by the strong man in the nearby universe. Don't worry, come to the Qin family first. Jian Wushuang directly transmitted the voice command. This formation is 10 times stronger than the one in the universe. He can guess even with his but, and this treasure trove is set in it. Haha. Jian Wu appeared invisibly in his hands. At this time, he was not afraid of others' suspicion, and he went straight out with all his strength. This sword shook the entire formation. It was blocked for a moment. The 4 ancestors glared. The power of that sword just now was almost equal to the strength of the ordinary 4 tribulations realm. Similar to the 4 of them. I'll drag him. A strong man with the most withered face stood up. He is the oldest 4 tribulations realm in the family. It is also the 4 tribulations realm with the least vitality. It's time for him to dedicate himself. Gong Song, great-grandfather. The 3-4 tribulation realm powerhouses who also have the title of ancestor, bowed one after another at this moment. Regarding seniority, they all have to call their great-grandfather. This powerful man in the dispersion realm had followed the existence of the master of the 5 tribulation realm universe who opened the family. Now they are facing downfall. Dare to attack my Qin family, is not afraid of the royal family. The thin old man, even at this moment, did not forget to delay time. Jian Wushuang didn't talk nonsense at all, constantly attacking the formation. It doesn't look at each other. Although the opponent has the combat power of the 4 tribulations realm, it is hard to say how long they can fight. Maybe there are no 2 tricks, all vitality will be lost, and only the flesh will be left. Jian Wushuang dodged at will, avoiding a punch from the old man. Hold the Excalibur upside down and leave precariously. Changed a place and continued to destroy the big formation. Said to destroy, in fact, it is interference. His current combat power is not enough to destroy this large formation. Even his deity can't do it. Chapter 5736. This great formation was definitely created for the family at the peak of the 5 tribulations realm universe master. Unless it is a superpower in the five tribulations realm, it can't be broken at all. Zibai's transformed and demon directly descended on the sacred mountain above the teleportation array. Jianwu was overjoyed and said loudly, "Despite everything, I broke him." After hearing these words, Zibai's eyes condensed, directly burning his own origin. He is also considered to be in the scattered tribulation realm, and even worse than the scattered tribulation realm. As long as the dispersal tribulation realm does not take action, it can still slowly gather vitality. Unless it has existed for too long, and even the seeds of life have disappeared, it will wither completely. Zibai is different. He was the one who had died. Even if he was revived, it was only his strength for a moment. Once the source is burned out, it will fall completely. And Zibai, after burning the origin, possesses the power of the pinnacle of the five tribulations realm. 4 arms grew from behind with 3 ugly heads. The strongest magical powers in ancient times, the pinnacle of the heavens and the earth, directly displayed 3 times the combat power. The entire formation was torn apart. Jianwu was overjoyed. He didn't expect it would break so easily. Everything is done in a few breaths. The ancestors of the Chen family looked dizzy and completely lost their confidence. "I want you to die." The 4 ancestors gave their lives one after another, exhausting the last bit of life in his whole body, and the little blood left when he was young, he chose to blew himself up. To die Mingji. The family is over, and these old guys are useless alive. Crucially, Jian Wushuang would not let them live either. At the moment when they blew themselves up, Zibai also exhausted his whole Bodis origin, giving Jian Wushuang the terrifying power of nirvana at the moment. Boom! The huge and demon fell. Together with the flesh began to break. The teleportation array was also destroyed. Now only a piece of mutilation remains. And Jian Wushuang's law body. Behind Jian Wushuang, a black hole appeared, directly collecting all the wreckage into the black hole behind it. Turning around and taking a look, Jian Wushuang took out a source of destruction from the mustard seeds in the chaotic Qin family land. This was originally brought out from the temple of Qishan. I was thinking of swallowing it myself. Now he doesn't lack this, just bloom here. Jian Wushuang tore through the space, and the law body stepped away. Behind him was a dark flower blooming. The Qin family land was wiped out. Although it's midnight, you can practice in the world, day and night. Similarly, there is no distinction between black and white. The Qin family was wiped out. "Master, have you seen it?" Someone looked up to the sky, offering sacrifices to their master. Someone also bowed down to the Qin family. There are enemies and benefactors. There are also some missing items. Jian Wushuang took away the treasure house, but he could not take away some fixed resources. This side of the site was quickly eroded by the nearby forces. But this is all for later. Jian Wushuang's law body threw a mustard seed on a meteorite through space, and the law body was destroyed by itself. That meteorite, mixed in the turbulent current, has hundreds of millions of the same rubble nearby, surrounding a burning star. And here, there are countless stars. It's like purgatory. Deity. Early the next morning, Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen left the room early and went to the palace to meet the empress. This is regarded as the rule of the royal family. In the morning, it was the time for Shang dynasty. However, in the main hall of the palace, only Jian Wushuang and Princess Jin Chen are real bodies, and the rest are law bodies. They descended instantly and appeared on their respective thrones. The empress also appeared at the end. "Your Majesty, the Chen family has been destroyed. According to the latest investigation, it looks like a magician giant shot. 3 years ago, the Eternal Kingdom was destroyed, and now the Chen family is wiped out in a single thought, and the remaining power is too strange to ask questions. Many people are more resistant to probing. The kingdom of God, like the Eternal Kingdom, will be destroyed. Not to mention Yugua. It's better not to check, it's more at this juncture." Moreover, he was still working on the night of the eldest princess' wedding, which was obviously premeditated. Sitting on the top, the empress slowly raised her hand with her fingers soaked in ink, and scribbled randomly on a gold list. regarding the Qin family's affairs, she didn't care about it. A family died. And it is also the top 5 big family in Vietnam. It was a big deal, but at this time, she didn't have any worries. The heart is like water. After the sacred meeting is over, do further investigation. The Empress' tone was very casual. Compared with this incident, what she wants to announce next is the real big thing. When everyone heard the next words, everyone was shocked. The 16 kingdoms of grass. Ranked first is the Stone Kingdom, not only as simple as having appeared in the 8 Tribulations realm, but also guarded by the flame gods. There is no need to say the third eternal kingdom. The Lord of the Universe with the 6 Tribulations realm for generations is extremely stable, but unfortunately it has now been destroyed, and the space has been directly wiped out. There is no eternal kingdom in the world. The first and third places have special places. Among the 16 countries, the second place is also unusual. Daughter country. What the Empress announced this time was that the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom successfully crossed the tribulation and became the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. Originally, this country lord was as famous as Shi Xiu, the Lord of the first universe in the Stone Country. In terms of fame, it is not even as good as Shi Xiu of Zhongxing Shigua. The two are in the same position as the men of the ancient Wood continent, and the future will depend on the existence of the 7 Tribulations realm. There are only so many masters of the 6 Tribulations realm universe in Gumu continent today. Many people think that Shi Xiu will be the fastest breakthrough, but they did not expect to be the leader of the daughter country. There was also a strange color on the face of the Empress. Her brows frowned, as if she was reminiscing about something. It's just that now everyone is more shocked. Master of 7 Tribulations realm universe. When Jian Wushuang heard this, he also took a breath of cold air. The realm of the gods at the beginning. This is not the realm of scattered robbery. That is the real master of the universe. There is almost no gap between the masters of the 7 Tribulations realm universe in the entire ancient Wood continent and the number of powerhouses in the 8 Tribulations realm. There are only 2 or 3 people in Gumu continent. There is one of the Gumu sect, who is the ancestor of the school, who used to open up the Guyu time-space sect era together with the leader of the Guyu sect. It is the oldest batch of 8 Tribulations realm. Then there are the ancestors of the Stone Country and the Flame Gods. The last is the ancestor of the Daughter Country. However, the 8 Tribulations realm of the Daughter Kingdom has fallen. And the era of fall has been a long time ago. There are only 4 8 Tribulations realm, and one has fallen. The Wood King of the Ancient Wood School is too old, and there is not much vitality, and I am afraid that it is not far from the end. The only one who can tell is the Flame God. The ancestor of Shirgua didn't work either. Chapter 5737. And the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe is also rare. And they are all in the sect. One is the contemporary leader of the Gumu sect. The other is a superpower from the Ancient Moon sect to the Ancient Wood continent. He is a powerful man named Iron Courage. Except for the 19 super beings who opened the sect at the time, most of the powerful kings have fallen or left Guyu at time and space. The strongest person is almost the person with the highest position in time and space and the strongest strength in Guyu. The masters of the 7 Tribulations realm universe who can be entrusted are all peak powers of the same rank. In his own dojo, it can be comparable to the peak 8 Tribulations realm. It is conceivable that even the person in charge of the Gumu sect was not sealed. Now the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe. Besides the sect, he was the first 7 Tribulation realm universe master. It is also the third contemporary master of the universe of the 7 Tribulations realm in Gumu continent. Within the dojo, there is the infinite vitality of the 8 Tribulations realm combat power. Everyone is envious. Most of the people present are the masters of the universe. However, most of them are in the 3 Tribulations realm, and only a few are the masters of the 4 Tribulations realm of the universe. As for the Lord of the Universe in the 5 Tribulations realm, the entire Yu Kingdom is also the female emperor of the royal family. Moreover, the female emperor is still the master of the universe of the Six Tribulations realm, and is only one step away from crossing the tribulation. In the entire Gumu continent, the female emperor's combat power in the same tier, faintly ranked first. This is also the reason why Yugwa has been emboldened recently. Now only need to move forward steadily to compete for the position of the saint. Now that the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe, the Gumu sect saint of the same name may be coming soon too. Regardless of success or failure, it must give way. The position of the female emperor for the saint can be said to be determined. Not surprisingly, it should be her. Well, there is nothing else to do today, so let's go away first. The empress waved her hand, a little tired. But there was a little oppression on his face. That is brought about by strength. The lord of the daughter country, the empress closed her eyes and thought about it carefully. The two at the time. They are a generation. Even in her age, she is much older than the daughter of the country's lord. When she achieved the immortal, the daughter of the country's lord had just embarked on the road of spiritual practice. When she was at the limit of Daojun, the other party had already caught up with her. That innocent and romantic girl, she vaguely remembered that face. During the time when I went to the Gumu school to practice. That girl, she did not follow behind her. Now she has reached a position that she dare not even think about. The lord of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. She really didn't think about it. In the sixth calamity, she was a little struggling. Not to mention the Seven Tribulations realm. If she could also become the master of the universe of the Seven Tribulations realm, the contemporary Yu kingdom could rank in the top 3 of the 16 kingdoms. Because of the disappearance of the eternal kingdom, there is an extra place. But the resources are not much. The entire eternal kingdom is gone. Empress Fengchen rubbed her eyebrows, and the phantom on the other throne had disappeared. Jian Wushuang and Princess Jinshan were also walking outside. Before stepping out of the threshold, he was stopped by a voice. Jian Wushuang was taken aback for a moment, then turned around and said respectfully, "What else is your majesty?" Although he is already a family, according to the rules of the country, he still has to call your majesty. The lord of the kingdom of the daughter of the kingdom of the Seven Tribulations, all parties will congratulate, and we cannot be less than the country. This time you too will go with the ancestors of the clan mansion. After speaking, a scroll flew out and fell in front of Princess Jinshan. Mother Queen. Jinshan was a little surprised, and still picked up the scroll for a moment. Jian Wushuang looked at him with enthusiasm, not knowing what it was. "Get out," the empress said, and her figure disappeared faintly. With full of doubts, the two walked out of the main hall, speechless all the way, and went straight back to the mansion in the royal capital below. As soon as he entered the luxurious mansion, Jian Wushuang couldn't help but ask, "What is that scroll?" In the hall, he noticed that Empress Fengchen had written something on it. When it was handed over to Jinshan, he didn't say much. "This scroll is definitely not simple." "I don't know." Princess Jinshan walked towards the back garden with her little hand on her back. Jian Wushuang originally planned to get back the hidden mustard seed, but in his heart he was extremely curious about the scroll. Followed to the back garden. He didn't get better in this mansion. Only after arriving in the back garden did I realize that this is the garden, and the whole is Yihua Mountain. Halfway up the mountain, among countless glamorous flowers, there is an ice pool. The two were sitting in the pavilion next to the ice pool. The cool breeze has passed, making people happy. "I've said it, I can't open it." Jinshan got a little annoyed, took out the scroll directly, and gave it to Jian Wushuang. He took it carefully, gently holding the scroll, and complained, "I don't know the goods, this is a baby, you can't be so spoiled." Jinshan's large shui lingling eyes rolled his eyes. "But in the bottom of my heart is a cold snort. This scroll is a gift from her mother's queen to her daughter's country lord, and only the person involved can open it. It's just that when it was handed over to her, it didn't make it clear, but Transhan informed her. Although Jian Wushuang entered the royal family. But it doesn't mean it's one's own. Jian Wushuang can go to show his face. But there is no Jian Wushuang's share in important matters related to interests." Holding the scroll, Jian Wushuang, who has won the most precious treasure, doesn't know what the other party thinks. At this time, he had only one thought, and that was to open the scroll and want to take a look. He is not all curiosity either. Never mind. This time I was really curious. He didn't want to quibble. Because in the hall, he, an emperor, could see the female emperor's frown and some strange smells. This empress must have some kind of connection with the daughter of the country master. Regarding the relationship between the Empress Fengchen and the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom, only some universe masters in the 5 Tribulations realm and even the 6 Tribulations realm know. Only a few people of that generation have survived to this day. Either died midway or died outside the battlefield. Considered for a moment in his hand. Jian Wushuang saw the power of restraint from above. Very peculiar. That power seemed to be borrowed from somewhere. It's like the power of the starry sky that he peeped into the starry sky. The more you can't see through, he was more curious. I want to go and take a look. So that he didn't even care about business affairs. The most important thing for him now is to retrieve the treasure trove from the Chen family, as well as the future plans with Wu Li that need to be finalized one by one. Now there is not much time left before the holy meeting. He also needs to build a sword embryo. For the robbery, he was almost ready. Breakthrough is not a problem, the problem is how to go further. When he broke through the tribulation realm, it was the day he became the Lord of the universe. By then, his sword embryo will also become a treasure of the universe. It can be regarded as the first cosmic treasure bred by the original universe. Chapter 5738. It is very important to him, but he intends to infuse all his kendo into it by then. Create a treasure to promote each other with him. Naturally, be careful. It's a pity that time has been rushed this time. He didn't expect to be able to make breakthroughs so quickly, so he hasn't been in a hurry. I am embracing the Buddha's feet now, I don't know if it will be too late. After pondering the scroll carefully, Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand, a trace of blue power poured into it. When Jinchen saw this, his eyes shrank and threatened. The Queen Mother said, "Only the Lord can open it. If you dare to open it now, it is a felony." "Thanks, Tusk, it's the same as I guessed." Jian Wushuang smiled, shook his head, and then reluctantly returned the scroll to Jinchen. But the bottom of his heart was a sneer. The power radiated just now is for the other party to see. When he first touched the scroll, he injected a force into the scroll. It was just blocked by the ban. With the time in his hand, he used the power of the starry sky to constantly test. Peeped at the contents of the scroll long ago. What I did just now is just to blow up Jinchen and see what the Empress said to her. Little girl film, play with him. Not even close. Jian Wushuang walked out of the pavilion regretfully. What are you going to do? Jinchen couldn't help but ask when Jian Wushuang was a little lonely. Go home. Jian Wushuang replied irritably. The figure changed and he left the mansion directly. Wu family. He was not in a hurry to fetch the mustard seed from the turbulent flow of time and space. Instead, he went to Wu's house and looked for Wu Li to find out about the Sure Kingdom's cast of gods. By the way, talk about the current situation again, and ask what else to prepare before the congregation. Just entered Wu mansion. Wu Li hurried over. Why are you coming back so fast? Wu Li's eyes were full of surprise. I got married yesterday, and I came back less than noon the next day. Jian Wushuang walked straight into the backyard and joked as he walked. Why, those who married out, the water poured out. It's hard to get over water. He is different. That's not what I meant, I'm afraid the royal family will misunderstand. Wu Li laughed and followed into the backyard. Since discovering that Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed him, he has lowered his posture by 1 level. Jian Wushuang came to the backyard, randomly found a place to sit down and said, Brother Wu Li, this time I have a business to come here. Say. Wu Li's expression became serious when he heard it. Now Jian Wushuang said that there was a business matter, he was indeed very solemn, maybe it was something big. Jian embryo. Jian Wushuang said about his own affairs, and wanted Wu Li to pay attention to him. After Wu Li heard it, it was not difficult. By the way, the embryo matter was also explained to Jian Wushuang in detail. There are many types of embryos. There are also many levels. For example, congenital embryos are the most precious innate embryos. The embryo of the eternal treasure is the eternal embryo. The embryo of the treasure of the universe is naturally the embryo of the universe. Creating a universe embryo is no less than creating a universe. When Jian Wushuang heard it, his expression moved. Fortunately, he ransacked the Chun family last night. In terms of treasures, it should be enough. Divine power dominates time and space. How many treasures can it cost to build a universe? Jian Wushuang smiled and told Wu Li to open up and say, let alone the ordinary ones, just say the kind that is the strongest, and he wants to build that kind. This. Wu Li was a little embarrassed, but went on to say, in fact, I want to create a universe embryo that matches me perfectly, and it is also related to me, not the stronger the better. Jian Wushuang rubbed his chin and nodded for Wu Li to continue. Let me give you an analogy. The cosmic embryo I created at the beginning is also a sword embryo. According to the structure of my universe at the time, I have embedded 100 black hole spaces in the embryo, reaching 1/10 of my universe. 1. It is also the limit state of most people. The universe is not too strenuous to cultivate, it only accounts for 1/10 of the origin. If so, Jian Wushuang would need to be embedded with thousands of black holes. It was 10 times stronger than the limit state, Wu Li said. Even if the power is different, the combat power is 100 times stronger. Jian Wushuang didn't feel that suffocating feeling. His own strength is not 100 times stronger than ordinary emperors. 1,000,000 times is said to be small. In front of him, no matter how many emperors are, they are also ants. The sword embryo he wants to build must at least have a gap of 108,000 times. 108,000. Jian Wushuang thought from the bottom of his heart. This number is good. If the sword embryo is inlaid with 108,000 black holes, plus 8,600 cosmic mysteries. Jian Wushuang grasped the outline. Watching Jian Wushuang fell into thinking, Wu Li talked about the casting gods. Speaking of this cast god, Shigua ranked first. Jian Wushuang agreed. He had heard from the beginning that it was also because of the flame god. For the cast god, the flame is the most needed. The kingdom of gods with infinite flames. This is naturally not lacking. Therefore, many talents will recognize Shiguzu the gods more. Bacchus. Wu Li said a name. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows, and he had also heard of this title. The pinnacle master in the Stone Kingdom, although not a member of the royal family, is a guest of the Stone royal family. The treatment is even better than those of the royal family. The strength of the 6 tribulations realm is comparable to the 7 tribulations realm. You know? Jian Wushuang asked curiously. When Wu Li heard that, he shook his head and teased herself, I was just a poor boy back then. If there are treasures, please move that person. Right? The original Wu Li was a casual cultivator. It's not bad to go to your country to find a casting master. How can you be qualified to let Bacchus take action? However, the existence that created the sword embryo for me is a disciple of Bacchus, a powerhouse of the 4 tribulations realm, and that's not bad. Wu Li said with some pride. He was not as cool as Jian Wushuang now. Not only the strength is against the sky, but the background is also very hard. It was stepping on the Wu family and entering the Yu royal family. Strong background and stronger strength. If you are willing to use the relationship between the royal family of Vietnam, Com may really be able to please that Bacchus. The Bacchus has stayed in the kingdom of God built by the flame god for many years. Then I thought about it. Jian Wushuang had just offended Ho Yi, who was extremely valued by the flame god. Feeling out of it again. If Fan Tianfeng had been careful, Jian Wushuang wouldn't even want to create a sword embryo from Shigua. It's over. Seeing Wu Li's expression, Jian Wushuang also thought that he had offended Fan Tianfeng. This time it was self-breaking. He also forgot this. On being careful. There are 10 people in Qishan Temple, and Fan Feng is the least minded. Chapter 5739. Now that I changed my name, I'm also careful. Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart, not thinking about this, but talking to Wu Li about the destruction of the Chen family. Although in the hall, the Empress doesn't care. But he was also afraid that nothing could be checked. Wu Li didn't know much about this matter. The deity has also been to the scene and chatted with those who were investigating. Nothing was found. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Next, he talked about the daughter country. For the daughter country, he didn't catch a cold, but he was very curious about the matter of the Empress and the daughter country leader. In the scroll, he spied some tricks. That is a painting. 2 women are drawn. One is the female Emperor Fengchen of Yu Kingdom, but she was a little surprised in her dress. Man disguised as a woman. This kind of trick will be exposed in the ordinary. The Empress also played. The other is the Lord of the daughter country, a beautiful and lovely woman. Looking at that portrait, it is natural not to see that it is a great power in the 7 tribulations realm. When Wu Li heard about her daughter country, she grinned first. Then solemnly said, "I don't know much about this matter. This time you are blessed. You can follow a certain ancestor of the Yu country to congratulate the master of the country. I want to take a look. Not that qualified." This is also true. At that time, the force is going to congratulate. I am afraid that the bottom line is all 6-star sections. Leading forces like Guma School and Stone Kingdom will also go. The strong men of the Yu royal family will not be conspicuous among them. Not to mention the Wu family, a family that hangs at the end when they cross. A glimpse of the honor of the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm. It is indeed a rare opportunity. At that time, just drop by to Shurgua. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If Brother Wu Li is willing, I can bring you a few specialties from the daughter country. Wu Li couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Naturally, I know what the specialty of the daughter country is. The 2 chatted about Wanlu for a while, and then Jian Wushuang quietly left, leaving Wangdu directly. After making a change in the outside world, after a circle, he returned to the mansion prepared by the royal family for him again. When he entered the mansion, he found a familiar atmosphere in the mansion. Muchen. Wushuang nephew, it's just noon, and today I will cheekily have a meal with you. Mu Chen's face was full of smiles. Since seeing Jian Wushuang's strength yesterday, Mu Chen felt that Jian Wushuang was a rare thigh. I won't be worse than my sister in the future. The character who can be compared to the Empress. Naturally, get close. Uncle Huang joked, I have today, thanks to you. Don't talk about a meal, even if I come every day, I have to wait for you. Jian Wushuang said this string of words, very useful. Mu Chen on the table, he is smiling. Jin Chen on the side couldn't stand it anymore, and urged, what are the arrangements for going to the daughter country? You girl, you are just anxious. Wushuang's sage nephew just came back, and it's never too late to talk about it. Mu Chen was afraid that Jian Wushuang didn't know his intentions, so he had to say it. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang hurriedly said, but it's okay to say it. Next, Mu Chen talked about the whole itinerary. In fact, it is a departure time. Depart tomorrow afternoon. Just arrive at the daughter country before dark. Congratulations, just 1 night. This time only 3 people went to Vietnam. An ancestor of the 6 tribulations realm in the royal family brought Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen together. The ancestor Mu Chen will take you too. Remember to be respectful to the ancestors, and to be in awe of the strong from all sides. Mu Chen finally added, there are many strong from all sides, so don't overdo it. Zhang Yang, when the holy meeting is coming, there can be no mistakes in this kind of thing. Understand? Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen nodded together. On the occasion of the holy meeting, Vietnam is a big hit this time. It's too much publicity, and it's unlucky to be calculated in private. When Jian Wushuang agreed, he also said about his going to Shurgua. Jin Chen's expression changed slightly when he heard Shurgua. Mu Chen was a little embarrassed, but Jian Wushuang didn't care. Sword embryo, it is very important, we must go. Jian Wu is bilingual and firm. Mu Chen said politely, I need help, you can say it. Must. This time, he didn't say anything. Mu Chen went back to his house after a while. Jin Chen went back to the room alone. Jian Wushuang went to the special training place in the mansion. Absolute space. Enter into a cave in the sky. This space is a black hole derived from his universe. Absolutely hidden. The outside is a secret room inside the mansion. After entering this cave sky, Jian Wushuang took out the mustard seed. Grasping for a moment, he directly threw it out, and his thought power moved to the heavens and fell into the cave. The ordinary wreckage was instantly swallowed and absorbed by the power of the black hole. From the wreckage, Jian Wushuang found 4 conch shells. There is the breadth of the universe above. It should be a universe-level cave. Extravagance, or too many treasures in storage, needs space in the universe to store them. Jian Wushuang is looking forward to it. But he didn't rush to open these 4 caves. Instead, a piece of black crystal was taken out of the mustard. This was discovered by Zibai in the Qin family universe. First open this crystal to see what treasures there are. Jian Wushuang pointed out, and directly broke the upper restriction. Forcibly opened the crystal. Click. A mustard seed is inlaid inside. Presumably, when the master of the universe was desperate, he chose to seal up all the treasures in his universe. It's a pity that Zibai can't escape the search. It was still found. In fact, there are still a lot of cosmic crystals in Zibai's body, but unfortunately after burning the source, he went to block the attack for him, and he collapsed, and those cosmic crystals were also exhausted. Jian Wushuang didn't care about that little universe crystal anymore. On the contrary, I feel a little sorry for Zibai's fall. A good helper in the 5 tribulations realm. That's it. Now he wants to refine a chess piece, but he doesn't have that strength. You can only refining the chess pieces of the general size when you wait for the robbery realm. Jian Wushuang took a breath, holding the endless illusion, and opened the mustard seed sealed by the Lord of the Universe. You reading www.Akanshu.com. Countless treasures tilted down instantly. When he saw these treasures, he was a little surprised at first, but he quickly reacted. In the universe of the Qin family, all the people living in the universe are the ordinary children of the Qin family. Some clansmen who are weak or simply can't set foot in the practice, if they are in the country of you, I am afraid they will live very poorly. It's different in the universe, it's entirely the Qin family's own place. Even if they can't practice, they can give them a perfect life. Therefore, the treasures stored in the mustard seeds are for ordinary use. There are also some treasures used by immortals. Although the number is staggering, enough to be used by hundreds of millions of people, it is of no use to him. Chapter 5740. Fortunately, there is also the treasure of the Lord of the Universe. Some well-known treasures of the universe are definitely unusable and will be doubted. The Qin family was just destroyed. He used the treasures of the Qin family, and a fool would do it. Some treasures can be swallowed, and the ones that cannot be swallowed are destroyed. There are also some unheard of. After all, apart from a few treasures that a practitioner can represent, most of the treasures are whole cards, which are easily hidden from others. It's like a treasure in his own body. Many people know that he has a sort of decisive cloud, as well as a beast weapon. For other treasures, less is known. One reason. The same goes for others. Except for the unusable treasures, he simply didn't look at the remaining rubbish. The only thing that can be used is some strange things. It should have been obtained from the void outside the domain, and the value is not bad. According to his estimation, the value exceeds tens of billions. However, a cosmic master of the 3 tribulations realm, the actual benefits he can get are only tens of billions. It's a bit of a disadvantage. Of course, there are some treasures that he can't see through. 3 pieces of red metal, I don't know what material they are extremely tough, and there is this breath on the top. He doesn't care about this. The most important thing is the treasures in the Qin family treasury. Don't get me some mundane treasures. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but complain. The wreckage is exhausted, leaving the cave sky only some forbidden power. He couldn't be the master at all. A palm shot directly destroys the prohibition of the cave, together with the internal spatial structure. In front of him, a colorful breath burst out instantly. Closer look, this is chi, but a real treasure. It's just that there are too many, condensed together, very similar to the breath. The cave sky is broken, but the general structure is still there. There are 3 areas in total. Represents 3 treasures. Jian Wushuang had seen the colorful treasures, which were clusters of purple crystals. This is... His breathing became a little deep. A treasure from the extension of the universe crystal. It's like piled up with cosmic crystals. Jian Wushuang looked around. It was a majestic mountain. At least 100 billion cubic meters. Converted into a universe crystal, it is an incalculable quantity. Source stone. Jian Wushuang thought of the information he had opened at Qinjiamen. Recognized these spars. This is the purest source stone of divine power, and it is very useful in Guyu time and space. It is not as good as the universe crystal when placed in the Qi temple, but in Guyu time and space, the price of the source stone is 100 times higher than that of the universe crystal. With so many source stones, I am afraid that the 7 tribulations realm might not be able to come out. A small Qin family will have so many source stones in reserve. This time it's really posted. With so many source stones, let alone the Bacchus, even the 8 tribulations realm would be tempted. Of course, most of the 8 tribulations realm powerhouses don't need this kind of treasure, they need some strange things. These source stones can still play an auxiliary role in the cultivation of divine power, and they can also be absorbed in battle to restore divine power. It can be regarded as the hard currency in the robbery, and it is also the strategic material that the family needs to reserve. In this way, the Qin family's ambitions are really not small. So many source stones were hidden secretly. Jian Wushuang couldn't wait to open the remaining 2 spaces. The second area. It is a valley. Countless god-level herbs and some exotic flowers are planted in the valley. Even Jian Wushuang couldn't recognize it. But judging from the power emanating from above, these things are of great value. Something is wrong. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. There was a familiar smell on these exotic flowers, which he had just seen. Just that breath. He tore off a blood-stained fruit at will and put it directly into his mouth. That breath instantly turned into a violent force and merged into his blood. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands. His supernatural powers suddenly exploded. The base divine power has actually increased by 100. How is it possible? Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. His basic divine power has reached 200,000 times. This is no longer the limit of the emperor, and even the limit of the strong man in the second tribulation realm cannot reach 200,000. The limit of the emperor is 100,000 times of supernatural power. He was able to reach 200,000 times beyond the standard, but it was because of Bobby D. Now that he absorbs that breath, he can actually increase his divine power. This is simply incredible. Looking around, countless fruits. Jian Wushuang's eyes gleamed. If he eats all of it, wouldn't he be able to compare to the 5 tribulations realm in the emperor? No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. There must be some kind of backlash. If it is so magical, then this kind of treasure is too bad for the sky. How could the Qin family get such a treasure? A small Qin family, even if it is the glory of the ancestors, can't get such a magical treasure. With this kind of treasure, it shouldn't be the strength it is now. Then there is only one situation left. Jian Wushuang opened all 3 areas. On one side is the majestic mountain of the source stone. In the middle is the fruit. The last area is very small, with a pool of blood. This made Jian Wushuang think of the blood sacrifice of the Soul Heaven Emperor. Compared with his past, his blood sacrifices are pediatrics. The blood pool of the Qin family made him think about it. It's a pity that the Qin family died and fled. It is estimated that everyone who knew the truth was killed by him. These fruits should be cultivated by the pool. It seems that the Qin family's plan is very big. Jian Wushuang thought in his heart. But why didn't the Qin family use it by themselves? What is the purpose of cultivating these blood-colored fruits? With these doubts, Jian Wushuang walked out of the secret room. He can use the source stone, but this is not marked. He has to be cautious about the rest, destroy what can be destroyed, and throw away what cannot be destroyed. There are some bonus treasures that can be swallowed. Now he is going to find out some things about the Qin family. There is only one day left to go to the daughter country. It was late at night now, and he couldn't go out again after dawn. Only now go out of the city and go to the Qin family's ruins to inquire. After taking the attention, calm Jian Wushuang set off immediately. He couldn't hide such a big thing in his heart and wanted to understand it as soon as possible. Because he always felt that the destruction of the Qin family was a big hidden danger for him. Just before he left the city, several powerful auras came to the capital of Qingyu. Jian Wushuang ignored it, and after changing his body shape, he walked directly towards the nest where the Qin family was destroyed. I will not be doubted if I go there now. Because many strong people are in the Qin family's nest at this time, some are curious, and some want to make a profit. When he arrived, he encountered a lot of experts in the robbery realm. This fellow Taoist, you are already late. The powerful man from the royal family just made a major discovery here and has already left with those treasures. An old man sat cross-legged on the mountain and found Jian Wushuang falling beside him. When I felt the strong breath, I told him what had just happened here. Chapter 5741. The person here is Jian Wushuang. After hearing the old man's words, he thanked him in a low voice. Then returned directly. I wanted to ask what was going on here, or if there was anything found. Unexpectedly, there are really important discoveries. At the beginning, he was walking in a hurry and thought that all the treasures were in the cave. Unexpectedly, the Qin family still has a backhand. Jian Wushuang hurried with all his strength and returned to the royal capital within an hour. Thinking of the royal family's entry into the city just now, his brow furrowed. It seems that what I found is unusual. If it is some ordinary treasure, I am afraid it will not return so fast. Although things have changed a bit, Jian Wushuang himself did not lose his position. First he recovered his figure and returned to the mansion calmly. Then began to contact Elder Muqin. He is the king of the universe, although his strength is not very good. But it is true that the backbone of the future is the elder brother of the empress. The news should be a little better than him. Wushuang sage nephew, the news is so fast, I also just got the news, why don't you and I go to the palace to have a look? Elder Muqin was a little surprised at how quickly Jian Wushuang got the news, but he was not too skeptical. When the people of the royal family discovered the treasure, it caused a lot of movement, and then hurried back to the royal family, which attracted the attention of many people. As long as Jian Wushuang keeps in touch with the outside world at all times and knows this matter, it is not surprising. Jian Wushuang received the reply from Elder Muqin and responded. It was indeed too unusual for him to go there alone. If Muqin took him there, it would be different. Two people are going to watch the excitement. A person has a serious purpose and temperament. To be on the safe side, Jian Wushuang cheekily pulled on the Princess Jinqin. Originally, the other party was not going to go, but under his flicker, the Qin family password he said was earth-shattering. Be regarded as attracted to the other party. In this way, the two went outside the palace together, first met with Muqin, and then entered the palace together. The palace above the clouds is very solemn. After the three of them entered, they became awed unconsciously. Jian Wushuang's thoughts were more delicate, and he discovered that the guard at this time was much stricter than usual when he entered the palace. It was hard not to let him think that it was because of the Qin family. Especially when he went to the main hall, the blood-colored aura in his body continued to surge, which was the aura in the blood-colored fruit he had just absorbed. In the main hall, the source with this breath is attracting him. Before entering the main hall, he felt a breath and came to the surface. A strong shot. The three of them looked surprised, and then quickly entered the main hall. There was no personal summons, and he rushed in. When I entered the hall, I discovered that there were several powerful figures in the hall. 8 are in the 5 tribulations realm, and 2 are in the 6 tribulations realm. Of course, they are all in the diaspora realm, not the Lord of the universe. In today's Yu Kingdom, the only master of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm is a female emperor, and there are not many in the Four Tribulations realm. The entry of the three makes the scene cohesive. Several sharp eyes came, making people breathless. Ancestor Yanlong. Seeing this, Elder Mu Chen hurriedly bowed to see him. Among the two Six Tribulation Realm powerhouses, the oldest Tribulation Realm powerhouse nodded slowly. Although Jin Chen was the eldest princess of the Yu Kingdom, he had never seen an ancestor of this generation, and hurriedly pulled Jian Wushuang and walked with him to bow down. "Get up!" Ancestor Yanlong had a kind face and waved to the three of them. When the female emperor saw this, she said, "Since it's here, just stand aside and watch." "Yes." Jian Wushuang slowly got up and stood aside. It was only then that he could see that there was a small transparent altar in the hall. There was a churn of green liquid inside. It makes me sick to see. But the liquid in it contains vitality. Of course, this kind of vitality is very ordinary. It can't be compared with Jian Wushuang's life force at all. In this green vitality, there is also a small meatball. It is the appearance of Ganoderma lucidum. It should be this thing that made him surge. Jian Wushuang didn't cover up for a while, just staring at it blankly. The ancestor Yanlong, who was standing at the top, saw Jian Wushuang's strange eyes, and asked, "Little guy, do you know?" Hearing Yanlong's ancestor's inquiry, Jian Wushuang reacted. There were several powerful men beside him, and he quickly closed his eyes. But when I looked at the ancestors, my thoughts moved, and I had an idea in my heart. Returning to my ancestors, the younger generation had seen the corresponding thing in Outland, found it in a secret realm, and accidentally ate the surrounding fruits. When I just saw this thing, I found that my qi and blood were related, so I was stunned. Jian Wushuang made up a lie that he was about to believe. Elder Mu Chen was on the side, but there were some differences, wondering why Jian Wushuang was so powerful. Even the secret realm of Outland dared to trespass. But another thought, Jian Wushuang's identity in Outland was fake. Can this be taken seriously? No one can tell whether it is true or false. "Oh, I have a fate with you, then I will give it to you," said the ancestor Yanlong, mobilizing his mind to directly send the mysterious creature with the appearance of Ganoderma lucidum soaked in the life liquid to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment. "This? Let you keep it, you just keep it?" The Empress said at this time, her voice cold. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to say more, and quickly followed up with his hands. The moment I touched the other party, the mysterious creature very similar to Lingji actually began to swallow his life force. The appearance also changed rapidly, from a Ganoderm-like shape to an oval pupa. After Jian Wushuang blocked his life force, the other party no longer changed. This scene surprised the people present. The ancestor Yanlong's eyes flickered. He was not interested in the creatures in the living liquid, but only interested in these living liquids. When I heard Jian Wushuang know this thing, my heart moved and I wanted to borrow Jian Wushuang's hand to get the thing out. He didn't bother to know whether it was true or not. Mainly, they were all attracted by this stuff just now. Some people advocate not to move. But he can't wait. He urgently needs the life liquid in it now. Because he is too old. If there is no more life, you will fall into a deep sleep. Become a living dead in the king's tomb. Jiang Shan is so charming, he is very nostalgic. But he didn't expect that the mysterious creature was actually related to Jian Wushuang, and it changed quickly. I don't know if it changed because of leaving the life liquid, or because of Jian Wushuang. He knows that Jian Wushuang is a dynasty cohort, and his strength and background are extremely mysterious. Baking is really related to Jian Wushuang. Not moving anymore. Jian Wushuang held the oval pupa, neither moving nor moving. Chapter 5742. He was afraid of instilling the power of life again, and directly let the other party be born. From the power above, it seems that the opponent's power has nothing to do with the life force, but is related to the breath that has just been absorbed. Life will only let it be born early, but the breath can make him powerful quickly. The female emperor stared at Jian Wushuang, her brows frowned slightly. She always felt that since Jian Wushuang appeared in front of her, the Yu country was uneasy. She didn't know that even the destruction of the Eternal Kingdom was very similar to Jian Wushuang. Relation. Dead. The ancestor Yanlong condensed his eyes on the pupa and said, because the pupa's life force, after Jian Wushuang was broken, it had withered quickly, and it was about to end soon. Jian Wushuang quickly offered the oval pupa. He didn't want such a thing. It's yours for you, no need to say anything. Old ancestor Yanlong said with a smile, I heard that you two are going to the daughter country this time. Go back and prepare earlier. This is about to send Jian Wushuang and others to leave. But Jian Wushuang had some concerns about that altar and wanted to open it. However, his status is not qualified. He could feel the life liquid in it, and many people were staring at it, especially which Yanlong ancestor. It doesn't matter when the female emperor comes, the Lord of the Universe does not need vitality. But those few robbers and Yanlong ancestors who are about to step into the coffin of the robbery realm are in great need. Junior, leave. The three can only leave in angrily. As for the main hall, it is studying how to distribute. In the Yu country, there is also a top figure. Jian Wushuang didn't know how many 6 tribulations were in the realm. But in the 7 tribulations realm, there is only one. The founding ancestor of the royal family. The 7 tribulations realm mighty one had heard that he had entered the tomb of the king, and he didn't know if he could recover. It's just that little bit of life liquid. It's almost a dream to revive the 7 tribulations realm, and the probability is still a few points in the palace. These have nothing to do with him. All he wanted was the altar. If not because of limited strength and status. He really wanted to take out a ball of life force, throw it on the opponent's face, and then go directly to retreat and study with the altar. Now I can only hold a cicada pupa, which is still a half-dead cicada pupa. Even the breath he had just absorbed was swallowed by the opponent. No! Jian Wushuang had just left the palace, and his heart suddenly moved. The breath on his body is gone, but the increased divine power is still there. At this time he somewhat understood. This power is the biggest backlash. The source of backlash is that pupa. Sent. Jian Wushuang directly bid farewell to Elder Mu Chen, ignoring Jin Chen, and went straight back to the secret room of the mansion to begin a short retreat. He's going to prove his thoughts. Back to the cave sky, covering the infinite secrets of heaven, that is, the way of heaven. Play with the pupa in your hand. There is still a hint of life. Jian Wushuang's thought power can be felt. Even if there is no vitality, he can forcibly revive the opponent. This is something like this kind of risky thing, he dare not do it in his own source. Of all the treasures obtained from the Chun family, only Yuan Shirshan is in his origin. The rest are in the cave. Scarlet Valley. Fruit everywhere. Jian Wushuang threw the cicada pupa directly into the air. A huge green river, like a star river, directly envelopes the pupa of the cicada. The oval pupa is deformed again. The body shape is changing, but the strength has not changed. The present pupa is not even the immortal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be just given to him in vain. Break the cocoon. After swallowing a life force, the oval pupa emerged from the cocoon. Become a giant beetle. Although it has enough vitality, it can't be changed again. And the strength did not increase. After turning into a beetle, his body became larger and his movement was very slow. Jian Wushuang stared at the direction of the opponent's movement. It's Scarlet Valley. This can't be eaten directly. Jian Wushuang restrained the beetle at will. He entered the Scarlet Valley by himself. Started to swallow the fruits and some herbs. The divine body skyrocketed frantically. There seems to be no upper limit. Jian Wushuang ate the blood-colored fruit in one hand, and in the other hand gave all the blood-colored power to the beetle. In this way he is purely increasing divine power. In an hour's time, he added 10,000 supernatural powers. This speed, if people know it, I'm afraid it will suffocate. If it weren't for a family ugly to devour his blood, I'm afraid he would explode and die. That breath became extremely violent when it encountered the beetle. It's just that the current beetle is no longer what it used to be. Jian Wushuang stared at the beetle bound under his hand. The other party already had a walk. But it still retains the characteristics of a beetle. The carapace became shoulder armor, breastplate, leg armor, and toe armor. Its head is the same, although it is a human shape, but it has Beetle's unique eyes and the bridge of the nose. The mouth is even more rigid and round. You can talk. Jian Wushuang felt a faint call. Staring at each other in surprise. Call. Listen carefully, there is only a deep breathing. After swallowing so much blood, its whole body still doesn't have much strength. At this time, even the ordinary can't beat it. This made Jian Wushuang think of the blood pool. If this guy is thrown into the pool of blood, I don't know if he can become the emperor. Jian Wushuang shook his head and sighed from the bottom of his heart. Forget it, your greatest use is to help me relieve these breaths. But the flow of time slowly slows down, and his supernatural power is growing wildly. He wants to swallow all the fruits in the valley. Look, the divine power will reach that level. 1 year, 2 years, 100 years. With the acceleration of time, it took him 100 years to swallow all the fruits in the Scarlet Canyon. In 100 years, the body of the walking beetle has not changed much, but its strength has broken through to the immortal, and reached the peak, be regarded as the realm of Taoist monarch. But this strength, in Jian Wushuang's eyes, was no different from a real bug. The current Jian Wushuang really has the qualifications to be arrogant. His basic divine power has increased to 400,000 times. The emperor has 400,000 times the basic divine power. It makes people think about it, but I dare not think so. This time. Calm, he doesn't need the power of the beast gods, he has 40 powers, comparable to the top 4 calamities. Now, if he uses the power of the beast god, the burden will be huge. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist slightly, and the beast soldiers on his body appeared. The next moment, he gritted his teeth and wanted to use the power of the beast god, but found that he couldn't mobilize the source of the beast god. It seems that it's a bit reluctant. There was no accident when he arrived. Now the 400,000 times the divine power, once the power of the beast is used, even if it is double the power of the beast god, it can be increased to 480,000. That is the real limit. He has achieved a short period of 500,000 times his supernatural power. It was because of the power of Bobby D. Chapter 5743. Now he can use twice the power of the beast to reach 500,000 times at any cost. Could it be that this beetle has something to do with Bobby D? But when he saw the appearance of the beetle, he didn't think it looked like it. Is also possible, but from the same place as Bobby D. Was then acquired by the Chen family, who wanted to cultivate this kind of monster. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Unfortunately, the strength is too weak. Only now is Dao Jun. Even if it is thrown into the pool of blood, at most it will reach the absolute peak, or the tribulation realm. What can you do? Ordinary tribulation realm is also an ant. Unless it's like the Qi Jiuxiao made by Emperor Bobby. Half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. Of course, the Qin family doesn't have the ability to train. Although the strength of Bobby D is weak, the secret method used is very special, able to control many powerful people, and even many superpowers in ancient Wood continent are willing to cooperate with each other. What does the Qin family have? Is it the one that used to be the 5 tribulations realm? That's too far. Take 10,000 steps back, the beetle can really reach that point. How should the Qin family control it? Ordinary slavery simply doesn't work. Jian Wushuang pinched the beetle's head, feeling very uncomfortable in his heart. I don't know if I want the other party to be strong or just like this. If he becomes very powerful, he doesn't have the ability to control the opponent like Bobby D. Forget it, just stay here. Jian Wushuang threw the opponent directly into the Scarlet Valley. There are still many remaining breaths here, and the altar is next door. The opponent is still here, and his strength will continue to increase. Bloody Pool, he didn't even rush to use it. Is sealed next to it. But he didn't know how much disaster this random one would bring to Yu Kingdom and even the entire time and space. It's just that it's been a long time since. Before he left, the beetle, who could not stand still, was lying on the ground, turned to look at Jian Wushuang, and roared 2 words. Silu! Jian Wushuang left the cave sky, placed a backing stone for the cave sky in the jade spring in the secret room, and hurriedly left. Today, I still have to follow Yanlong's ancestors to the daughter country, so I can't delay. The daughter of the country, the master of the 7 calamities, also has an inexplicable relationship with Empress Fengchen. Jian Wushuang wanted to see it even more. By the way, go to Shigua again to get the sword blank. If Fan Tianfeng makes things difficult for him, he will go to the ancient wood school to find another, the master of casting gods. There is no need to hang in the stone country. Hope, Fan Tianfeng, will not be so careful. After leaving the secret room, the breath of just appeared in the mansion, and a figure came to him in an instant. Why did you come out? Don't you know that you are going to the daughter country today? The visitor was Princess Jin Qin, who was already wearing formal clothes and urging Jian Wushuang with an impatient look. Jian Wushuang was also not angry, this time he was really to blame. Hurriedly changed into a black robe and followed Jin Qin out of the mansion. The two went directly to the east gate of the palace. Yanlong ancestor is already waiting here. When Jian Wushuang saw the black dragon at the feet of the opponent, he also understood why the opponent was called Yanlong. Should be the road number, not the real name. Ancestor Yanlong. The two paid respectfully. S complexion was a little uncontrollable, and even let an old man wait for the two of them for so long. Come on. The ancestor Yanlong didn't care when he arrived, and he still leaked an amiable appearance. Jian Wushuang saw the other's face. It was a little ruddy, and it seemed to be much younger. There is a high probability that the life liquid in the altar has been absorbed. As for the altar, he didn't dare to think too much, and there was no need to think about it. The blood-colored fruits have all been transformed into divine powers long ago. Set off. The three of them rode on the black dragon, smashed the space and entered the turbulence. It seems that the speed is not very fast, but in the blink of an eye, they have already left the country. Is now heading towards her daughter's country. It only takes a quarter of an hour to reach the daughter country. Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged on the back of the black hole, looking around, thinking about Jianbi in the bottom of his heart. Daughter country, after all, is just a curiosity. Sword blank is the business. Went to Shigua without using the power of Yuegua, he quietly went to search for it. It is difficult to meet those celebrities. It is necessary to use the relationship between the royal family of Yu and let Fan Tianfeng know. The key is that this time it is not only Yu country who went to the daughter country. There are other strong people from Gumu continent, and people from Shenzhen ancient moon god sect will come. The Lord of the Universe in the 7 tribulations realm has an extraordinary identity. If there is a master of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm, I am afraid that there will be strong people coming to see him in the long river of time and space around him. 8 Tribulation Realm. Comes with the Universe Dojo. A master of the universe of the 8 Tribulations Realm can stun several great eras. Is like those times in Guyu time and space. Some were created by the master of the universe of the 7 Tribulations Realm, but in every great era, there will be a master of the universe of the 8 Tribulations Realm. For example, the master of the universe of the 8 tribulations in the last great era has already left the million era of the ancient moon era. In today's Guyu time and space, except for the master of the universe of the 8 tribulations realm on the face of the ancient moon god sect, the other forces do not have a master of the universe of the 8 tribulations realm. The power of the master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm is very pitiful. Is like the ancient wood continent, and there are only 3 7 tribulation realm universe masters. There is also a strong man from the ancient moon sect. The peak of the 7 tribulations realm, the owner has half a step in the 8 tribulations realm's combat power. If he were in his cosmic dojo, I am afraid that no one on the ancient wood continent could threaten him. Unless it's the flame leading the dojo to fight. Just arrived in Guyu time and space, Jian Wushuang still felt that the Lord of the Universe was worthless. But looking at it now, it is weak and worthless. The powerful are always rare. Whether it is the Lord of the Universe or the Emperor, it is the same. He can't learn from those who are weak, but must follow the strong ones. The distance became a robbery, and he was only one chance. Open Wanlu, he will surely break through. When the time comes, he will directly become the Lord of the universe. Strength will also change again. Don't talk about the power of the starry sky. In terms of his current supernatural power alone, there are 400,000. When the time comes, I will merge Dongjun's bones into the divine body. When broke out completely, 1,000,000 supernatural powers were easy. The power of the beast will truly explode in the robbery realm. Jian Wushuang let out a suffocating breath. There was a light in front of his eyes, and a hole was split. Appeared again, and it was a world where the sky was blue and the ground was green. The green grass is decorated with pink flowers. Is exactly the same as the daughter country in Jian Wushuang's fantasy. The only thing I didn't see was the girl from the daughter country. I don't know what will happen. It's coming soon, you two little guys follow me. Yanlong ancestor confessed, the black dragon at his feet flashed, and he instantly arrived outside a simple and small city. Chapter 5744 is incomparable to the super city of ascetics. Is this the national capital of the daughter country? Jin Chen was the first to question. Jian Wushuang is also very curious. There is no breath in this city. Is like a mundane city. Of course, after you enter, you will understand that the capital of this daughter country is really an immortal city. The ancestor Yanlong took the black dragon magic weapon and landed the two on the trail outside the city. Go up, just walk into the city like this. After entering the city, Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen are like countrymen entering the city for the first time, so please take a closer look. The ancestor of Yanlong is like an accompanying old housekeeper. As he walks, he exhorts, remember, in this city, you can't use magical powers, let alone slaughter mortals, otherwise no one can keep you. Ancestor, rest assured, we are not magical practitioners. Jin Chen didn't care. Jian Wushuang also nodded slightly. He really is not a practitioner of the demon way. If he counts, he is not a practitioner of the righteous way, but a practitioner of the heavenly way. Pursue the way of heaven. Pursuit of being strong. Pursues longevity even more. His longevity road has been realized. According to his speculation, he reached the absolute point and mastered the complete Tao Xin. Is true eternal immortality. The once eternity can't be immortal. Tao Xian does not really reach consummation, it will still fall. But now Jian Wushuang is a real immortal longevity. But if you want to become the Lord of the universe, you have to face catastrophe. Cut off longevity. And above the Lord of the universe, there should be this immortal longevity. Maybe that is his pursuit. Walking on the mundane streets. Has different emotions. Especially Princess Jinshin. I'm afraid I haven't experienced too many red dust experiences at all. The immortal in Gyue time and space is actually more like a red fairy. Stand out from the mundane red dust. There are some arrogances, but they quickly broke through and reached the emperor, and even without any stumbling along the way, they directly became the Lord of the universe. This will not go long. The three of them walked and suddenly realized that they were being followed. Jin Chen's personality is relatively straightforward. He turned his head to look at it when he felt that he was being watched by a pair of eyes. On the corner of the street, one old and one young stood. Which teenager, or a young man, has red hair and blood-red eyes? A long robe, embroidered with red patterns, very strange. Stared at the three of them at this time, with some greed in their eyes. When I look at Jin Chen, his eyes are even more strange. Seeing Jin Chen looking back at him, he had been spotted, and he stared at Jin Chen up and down. Wears a golden robe, embroidered on the top is a 5-claw golden dragon, more like an imperial robe. Maybe this kind of dress can arouse a man's desire for control. Jin Chen's appearance is also stronger, and he directly shouted at the other party, "Bold, look at this palace like this. If you were here, I told you that your eyes were dug out. Don't be rude." As soon as he said this, Jian Wushuang frowned. The ancestor Yanlong was actually speaking. He actually stopped Jin Chen. When I looked at the two people in the distance, I didn't pay attention to any red-haired young man, but looked at the old man next to him and said respectfully, "Senior Bloodblade, long time no see." "Thanks, Tusk, who am I?" "I turned out to be from Vietnam." The old man didn't buy it. After feeling the breath of Yanlong, he dismissed it, turned his head and said coldly to the red-haired boy next to him, "Let's go." "Well, I want to see it after I get out of here. I will grab it back for you to be a furnace tripod." After hearing this, the red-haired young man licked the corner of his mouth with his tongue and cast a very disgusting look at Jinshin. This made Jinshin very angry. His eyes were already huge, but now they are about to stare out. Can be stopped by Yanlong ancestor, can only swallow it. Jian Wushuang stood aside, his expression cold. Although he and Jinshin are just a superficial couple. But in this situation, he couldn't watch it either. "I thought I was shameless enough, but I didn't expect you to be more shameless than me." Jian Wushuang sneered, a dark energy, a palm of 400,000 supernatural powers condensed in an instant, and patted the red-haired youth. Although the opponent's aura shrank, Jian Wushuang could also see through the level of life force that he should be the Lord of the Universe. And stronger than Wu Li. At least the peak of the Three Tribulations realm. Or the Lord of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm. 400,000 divine power, even the Master of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm, should be treated with care. This is not his dojo. "You dare." The red-haired young man's complexion changed drastically, and he shouted angrily. That dark energy rushed towards his face. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to dare to make a move. Can only be hardwired now. There is a muffled noise with both hands. A young man with red hair, a trace of blood leaking from the corner of his mouth. He couldn't believe that Jian Wushuang was able to hurt him. When the ancestor Yanlong wanted to stop, there was no time. The ancestor Yanlong, who was originally calm, looked a little ugly at this time. Jian Wushuang took action without his consent, which made him very dissatisfied. But this is also related to the face of Yugua. For a while, many foreign practitioners looked over. If he licked his face before apologizing, he wouldn't be able to lose that person. But he can't afford to offend the other party. The Blood Knife Ancestor. 7 Tribulation Realm Powerhouse. Although it is the realm of scattering tribulation, its combat power is not ordinary, with the top combat power of the 7 Tribulation realm. Is stronger than the founding ancestors of Vietnam. It's fine if the other party is a casual cultivator. The ancestor of the Blood Knife came from the strongest sect of Haitian, the Blood-Clothed sect, which red-haired young man, if he guessed correctly, he should be the son of the current sect master. The Blood-Clothed Gate, the 8-star sect. The contemporary sect master is even the master of the universe in the 7 Tribulations realm. They really can't afford it. 9 heavens and 10 earths. 2 days in black and white, the most complete and powerful. I won't talk about it during the day, but the headquarters of the ancient moon god sect is in the daytime. How can the black sky, which is comparable to it, be weak? Blood-Clothed Door is another magic sect. Is stronger than the ancient wood school and more powerful than the ancient wood school. This superpower is really unattainable. If you want to destroy the country, you can destroy it with a backhand. Old Wood Pie is useless. Although both the Bloody Cloth sect and the Ancient Wood sect are both 8-star sects, the current comprehensive power and background of the Bloody Cloth sect are much stronger than those of the Ancient Wood sect. If the Ancient Wood school can completely master the Wanlu Shenmu, maybe better than the Blood Cloak Door. But even his own treasures can't be fully controlled. How is it compared with the Blood-Clothed Door that completely controls Haitian? You mess, dare to attack me. The red-haired young man is the young master of the Blood-Clothed Door. With such an identity, no matter who you see in Haitian, you have to walk up to him honestly and let him play around at will. Now it's just looking at each other. There are people who dare to come forward and attack him. He couldn't help but want to shoot right now. The ancestor of the Blood Knife grabbed his raised arm and said in a low voice, "Go out and talk about it. This place is the territory of which country lord?" Chapter 5745. Although the Blood-Clothed Door is powerful, but the strong dragon does not crush the ground snake, The magic way knows this truth better. If you shoot now, you will definitely suffer. Just now, he didn't know how Jian Wushuang was able to keep his breath tight, so he dared to attack him. Just when the two of them are leaving, the strong man of the daughter country comes. A master of the 5 tribulations universe. Looks like a 28-9-year-old face, but it has a hint of unusual charm. Dear guests, this place is the most important place in our country. You can't do it privately. I hope you can forgive me. Fairy and Z, you are here just right. It's the first time I have come to your daughter's country. It just so happened that you took us to meet the lord of the country. Yanlong ancestor quickly changed the subject. Took Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen towards the Z fairy. Before leaving, Jian Wushuang glanced back at the red-haired young man. The other person's eyes really disgusted him. Jin Chen's view of Jian Wushuang has changed a little at this time, and he whispered, "Just now, thank you. I'm so thankful. You don't think the other party is interested in you, right?" Jian Wushuang said angrily, "I think that person is as good as Long Yang. I just take care of me when I am in love." His mouth was so hard that the change Jin Chen had just made disappeared again, and he rolled his eyes at Jian Wushuang. Fairy Z smiled with joy when he saw that he was the ancestor of Yanlong. "Are you Feng Shen's daughter?" Z Fairy asked. Jin Chen was shocked by the question, then nodded quickly. "I was very happy to see Jin Chen, Z Fairy," and he went straight to grab Jin Chen's hand and asked for warmth. Jian Wushuang was very jealous when he saw it. "Why is there not a fairy? Come and ask him. He also needs someone to comfort him now." Under the leadership of Fairy Z, the 3 directly broke through the clouds and entered the palace of the daughter country. Jian Wushuang looked down the clouds and said with emotion, "Why these royal families like to build their palaces on the clouds?" After entering the imperial palace, this place is still somewhat different from the imperial palace of Yu Kingdom. The scenery is more in line with the commonplace. Various kinds of flowers are planted everywhere, very bright. The country of daughters is all women, which is not surprising. The strange thing is why the whole body of the daughter country can continue to multiply. Jian Wushuang actually asked about it. The rumor is that the goddess left a glance at the spring water, and she conceived after drinking it, and only gave birth to daughters. Jian Wushuang thought, what would happen if a man drank it? That screen. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to think too much. After entering the palace, a few people came to a hall. This place should be a partial hall. Now there are many people seated. Has thousands of thrones. Sitting in a bustling hustle and bustle, most of them are in the 6 tribulations, and a few are in the 5 tribulations. There will be many masters of the universe. Compare which country lord can preach and tell his own experience of successfully surviving the catastrophe. Even the masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm have come a lot. Jian Wushuang saw a burly man sitting at the front. He had short hair and was avant-garde. His temples were a little pale and his beard was the same. But the face is extremely resolute. Is somewhat similar to the original Shurjiu, or Shurjiu is more similar to him. Raksho, the most promising cosmic lord in Shurgua today to enter the 7 tribulations realm, is also a strong man at the same time as the master of the daughter country. Used to stand side by side, but I didn't expect to let the other party overtake it. In addition to Shurjiu, there are also several masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm, all of whom are Tianjiao. The status is much higher than the 7 tribulation realm. The forces that came to congratulate this time either came from the Lord of the Universe, or from Tribulation realm. Sunjus are all powerhouses above the 6 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang followed Yanlong's ancestor, very inconspicuous. The ancestor of Yanlong was seated, he and Jin Chen could only stand behind the throne. Ding! A clear and melodious voice rang out, attracting most people's attention. Jian Wushuang also followed the voice. 4 breaths rose into the sky, coming from outside the hall. Big shot! Everyone held their breath. 4 figures. Standing at the forefront is a middle-aged man with a beard, his face is calm, with a jade hung around his waist, and a pair of deep eyes hides an extremely deep city. Iron guts. The superpowers sent by the ancient moon god sect to the ancient wood continent are not exactly the people of the ancient wood continent. Can have monstrous power and unfathomable strength in the ancient wood continent. Rumor has it that the Eight Tribulations realm has combat power. Ancient wood continent, the only thing that can crush him is the flame god. The remaining two Eight Tribulations realm had little vitality, and they couldn't make a normal shot at all. Otherwise, Bobby D's plan would not go so smoothly. He is the Lord of the universe, and he is not interested in Bobby D. Holy God! Brother Zhu! For a time, the few Seven Tribulation realm powerhouses in the temple stood up to say hello. These seven calamities are not the ancestors of a party, or the head of a party of forces. I can see the iron guts, but he is extremely polite. Compared that he is no longer the Lord of the universe. And Tai Dan Shen is the Lord of the universe at the pinnacle of the Seven Tribulations realm. The time to cross the robbery is still very long. Even if it fails to cross the catastrophe, it will have a huge vitality for countless years in the future. Will live longer than these old guys. And if it succeeds in crossing the catastrophe, that is the pioneer of the new era. This is why many people are very polite to every master of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. Even the Eight-Star sect, they are extremely kind. In case of a successful crossing of the catastrophe that day, it would be a great opportunity. Iron Daring looked around, leaking a smile, and said calmly, "It seems that it was not too late," then took a seat directly next to the main position. The master, of course, is reserved for the daughter of the country master. Now that the daughter kingdom greets everyone outside, it is a powerhouse of the Seven Tribulations realm, and he can be regarded as the ancestor of the daughter kingdom. Although the ancestors of the Eight Tribulations in the kingdom of the daughters have arrived, there are still a lot of them in the Seven Tribulations. At the time, the ancient wood sect had not yet been established, and there was a daughter country, which has a longer history than the ancient wood sect and even the ancient moon god sect. There are naturally many Seven Tribulation realms that were born. In this era, another universe lord of the Seven Tribulations has been born, and the daughter kingdom still has the glory of several eras. With the appearance of every big man, there are not many thrones left in the hall. Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to record the information of these powerful men. To prepare for future running. The strongest person on the scene is the brave face. The level of life alone surpasses everyone. The strength of the opponent made him think of Qishan. When Qishan's body was revived, he also witnessed this power. Maybe the current is still a little bit behind Qishan, but that power is already very close. The power of the Lord of the Universe is stronger than the feeling that Tribulation Realm gives him. If the catastrophe is a pool of water, then the Lord of the Universe is a sea. A pool of water will eventually dry up. Can be a sea, but it is endless. No wonder Qishan was unwilling to switch to Sanjia. Seems to have seen it through. Chapter 5746, Scattered Robbery, Only Self-Destruction. Stay alive, it's better to fight. Now he has begun to agree with Qishan's approach. Although Qishan's approach would probably count him, he still feels that Qishan is fine. If it were him, he would do the same. In addition to Titan Shenhou, the master of the Seven Tribulations realm universe, there are also a few Seven Tribulations realm auras that are unusual, even though there is no origin universe. But his life is still alive. It is estimated that the combat power is no less than those of the Seven Tribulations realm who took refuge in Bobby Emperor. I don't know why none of the Seven Tribulations realm that was released by Emperor Bobby at the time came. He was afraid that the other party would recognize him. Unexpectedly, I didn't see one. It seems that they also have a mission. His clone has been on Bobby D's spacecraft, and it seems that there is no movement on the surface. Kababi D has worked so hard to make the monster Qi Jiuxiao, and he must have a big plan. Whether it's rekindling the road of cultivation, or whatever, it won't be so quiet after all. Something must be done. The more immobile, the greater the proof of the plan. Then the movement will be even greater. This is also good. The greater the movement, the more opportunities he has. Looking at it now, the overall strength of Gumu continent is pretty good. is far worse than Qi Jiuxiao. Unless it is the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe in the cult, it will not be able to stop Qi Jiuxiao at all. Babidi might also be worried about this, so he hasn't made any moves and wants to find a certain opportunity. Just as Jian Wushuang was thinking about it, 2 familiar auras appeared outside the hall, and someone was complaining from afar. Thanks, it's really hard. The red-haired young man snorted coldly and was very upset with his daughter. Gugudu actually wanted them to come in. But Jian Wushuang and others were picked up. The person here is exactly the 2 of the blood-clothed men who have had some small holidays with Jian Wushuang and others. These 2 people do not belong to Gumu continent. They enter the hall with their heads high, very arrogant. The blood knife ancestor walked in front, and even sneered at the 7 tribulations realm next to him. In their opinion, the comprehensive strength of Gumu continent is basically enough to compare with Haitian. Dark days and daytime are the 2 strongest days among the 9 days. As for the 10 places, the collapsed collapse, the withered. There are not many to see. Ancient Wood continent is already relatively well preserved. It's a blood-clothed person, really arrogant. Some of the 6 tribulations realm experts whispered. It is reasonable to be able to let the strong from the outside world come this time. But I didn't expect someone from the blood-clothed door to come. Demon Dao sect. Ignore Zhu. The blood knife ancestor stepped forward and only nodded to Tai Dan. Tai the Courageous Look is a title. S real name, Zhu ignores. A master of the universe at the pinnacle of the 7 tribulations realm. Is still worthy of respect. It just seemed that the blood knife ancestor and the iron guts were not on the right path, and neither of them said a word. The red-haired young man narrowed his eyes when he saw the tall and bold body. Reminded him of something terrible. The gods who hadn't descended on the ancient Wood continent at the time were also the people of Haitian. Just entered the ancient Wood sect early and rarely returned to Haitian. But when he was weak, this was also the famous Emperor Tianjiao of Haitian. Is a generation with the master of the blood-clothed door today. The 2 even fought each other during the emperor period. The red-haired young man is the young master of the blood-clothed door, and naturally he has heard rumors about the gods from his father. That's why there is a trace of scruples and fear in my heart. Hee, you are so timid, you really look like your father. Zhu Wushi turned his head and took a look at the red-haired young man before speaking lightly. By this, the red-haired young man jumped with cold sweat on his forehead, so he didn't dare to say a word. The ancestor of the blood knife frowned. When he was the Lord of the Universe, he was no more than the Emperor. According to his seniority, he was still the opponent's senior. Now he threatened the young master of the blood-clothed door. No matter what, he would come out to block it. A violent blood gas rose suddenly, forming a blood shield, directly blocking Zhu Mizu's gaze. He was daring, frowned, and said, "It's still as stingy as before." Although he is also a Haitian person, the most uncomfortable are Haitian people, who can only bully the weak and have no courage to challenge the strong. There is no such thing as a strong one. Everyone snickered when they saw the people in the blood-clothed door squat. Sadly, this is a check and balance within Haitian. The ancient Wood continent powerhouse present, but no one dared to confront the blood-clothed gate. If Black Sky is not good, then Gumu continent is not good. Fortunately, he does not belong to any party. I can't put it on his face without shame. Just when the hall was noisy, a fragrance of flowers came, and everyone was stunned. The fragrance of flowers is very special, which makes people instantly enter an ethereal state, feeling comfortable all over and thinking faster. With the fragrance of the flowers, a puff of white dust descended, looking around, raising a wave of majesty. Then came a powerful breath. The Lord of the Daughter Kingdom is here. The Lord of the 7 Tribulation Realm Universe. Everyone withdrew their thoughts one after another, and turned their heads to look around in unison. Some people have met this country lord. This time, there are also some friends of the other side who know each other naturally, but they have never seen the Lord who became the Lord of the universe of the 7 Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang stood behind the throne covered half of his face, only one eye looked at him, and he was shocked. In his single eye, A gentle woman in a white fairy skirt is walking slowly. I don't know if it's the angle or something else. He always felt that the other party was coming towards him. A long and narrow body, with carved facial features, and soft skin like jade. Single-round appearance is actually hard to surprise Jian Wushuang. Is that temperament that squeezes the people present to death. This temperament makes people have the desire to conquer. Seeing the gentle gaze of the other party, I wanted to pull it into my arms. Not right. Jian Wushuang shook his head desperately, and after his eyes became clear, he discovered which daughter of the country lord really came towards him. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang was surprised and delighted in his heart. What was surprised was why the other party would notice him as a small person. She can't be said, maybe it is a short heartbeat, for some reason, it suddenly moved the mundane red heart. Made him show no ill will towards the daughter of the country's lord, only full of goodwill. The white skirt floated with the breath, and the daughter of the country's lord came so lightly. Surprised everyone. Many people are puzzled as to why this country lord would go to Yanlong's ancestor. You need to know that the strength of Yanlong ancestor is not too prominent in this hall, and the background is average. Everyone is surprised. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.